What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another live stream here. My name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Happy to be with you here on this beautiful Monday, July 7th. Before we get started, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. I'm just a regular idiot like you and everybody else yapping here, or maybe not like you. Yapping here on YouTube for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures and code RDF. Let's hop on to the charts here, see what we got rolling. We have a 7-pack of the straight to funded Sim Pro 150K accounts from Top 1 Futures loaded up here. We are on the Project X platform. Going to be talking a little bit about Top 1 Futures here on Project X because they got some wild 4th of July deals, promotions running. Also going to be talking about Bookmap. They have a wild deal rolling as well. Go ahead and throw this banner up here for you guys. Code RDF, the best deal right now, 55% off. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. Let me go ahead and make sure we got this one set. Nice. Nice. Awesome, man. So, yeah, going to be taking a look at... Sorry, I just want to make sure everything is streaming. Yeah, we're good on YouTube, good on X. Took me a second to get this set this morning. Nice. Kick is rolling. If you want to join us on Kick, man, we are live on Kick every morning now as well. All right, let's take a look at, first off, news. We're getting opened up here right around VWAP, but take a quick look at news with you guys before we even get started. Zooming out to the daily. ForexFactory.com, not partnered or affiliated with these guys, but just my preferred site. You can tell I used to trade Forex. Looking at this, not a whole lot to worry about. Not a ton on this news calendar. Wednesday, we got some FOMC meeting minutes into the afternoon. Thursday, 8:30 a.m., we have unemployment claims. Those are both red folder. Into the afternoon on Thursday, we got some speakers, but pretty light week outside of... just some yellow folder stuff, crude oil, maybe that kind of kicks the market around a little bit. But, tomorrow. But really not too worried about the financial news calendar. Not a whole bunch of crazy red folder news at, 10 a.m. or something like that we're going to have to worry about. Outside of that, we do have quite a bit of geopolitical events and just kind of outside things affecting these markets. We got some wildness and, Tesla going on. I think they were down like 7 or 8% in pre-market. Elon essentially said that he was going to create his own political party, something like that. And that kind of kicked Tesla around. Well, that doesn't directly relate to ES. It is, one of the majors in the U.S. markets. Continual tariff uncertainty, right? That's there. I think the most updated comments out of Trump was that the new tariffs are going to take effect on August 1st, not July 11th. If you care about fundamentals, I really don't pay too much attention, but this stuff can, have a heavy impact, kind of like that Forex Factory site that I was just showing you. So try to pay attention. But they had something going on for like July 8th or July 9th, I think. That's off the board now. That would be tomorrow or Wednesday. That's off the board. It's pushed till August 1st. So, a little bit dicey there, but not too much to worry about this week, essentially what I'm getting at there. So let's take a look at the charts. As you guys know, I like to let these markets open up. I don't dive right in, which is why I don't mind kind of just hanging out here and chatting it up for the first couple minutes. Letting the market just open up, get crazy. If we look at this daily candle, see you guys chatting. What's up? What's up, Wolf? Good morning. Good morning, IT. What's up, Nate? What's up, Eddie? What's happening, guys? Good morning. Yeah, I guess I could tell a handful of people are sleeping just based on not the 47 comments for good morning off the open here on Monday. That's okay. Everybody's hungover, celebrating 4th of July holiday weekend, and I think this week honestly could be pretty, just in the markets also, pretty low volume, low volatility. Like even a lot of the traders that I look at and and follow are not trading this week or just taking it easy. Coming into July after 4th of July, kind of common to just have that summer slowdown really start. Anyway, take a look at what we saw last week into this week, right? Big bullish push above all-time highs here in ES. Really just continued this drive right off the bottom of all of this back in April. Up here, We got a little bit of consolidation here, a little bit of chop now, right? We are opening up now with another inside candle. We had an inside bar here, right? We didn't come above and crack the top or bottom of this prior daily bar. Here we are kind of opening up with a little consolidation candle. Nothing too crazy. I think we were gap up at the open, and we continued, but here we are pulling back down towards VWAP. Obviously, if we zoom out on the higher time frame, like zoom way out on the daily, you know what US indices do, right? Typically go up and to the right. If we zoom out from, just looking at this trend over the last few months, what is it doing? We're going up, right? We zoom in. What are we doing over the last couple weeks, the last couple days? We are pushing to the upside, right? So pretty much every trend from like extremely higher time frame to lower time frame is going to be up just from a basic technical standpoint. Which direction are we moving, to up and to the right or down and to the right? Typically, we don't go left, although Wolf likes to say we go. He's going to look for us to go right. So, taking that into consideration, this is looking pretty bullish. If I look at just some more kind of where we are time frame wise, taking into consideration what we're seeing on the chart, maybe some anticipation. We're post-holiday week, not a whole lot of news, right? No news Monday. We've had a lot of big movement out of the market. Oftentimes, that comes before some consolidation, some chop, some pulling back. I wouldn't be surprised if we had just a kind of a choppy, rangy week, right? I'll call that out first thing this morning. I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't just continue blasting to the upside. We cracked all-time highs. We had big movement. Market sometimes is like, okay, time to rebalance a little bit, time to chill out. Not to give the market its own personality. Pullbacks can be in store, right? Coming back down to grab some liquidity, reload before maybe a further push higher. Right now, looking at this, more zoomed in. So that's kind of just the higher time frame speculation, just talk. We opened up with a nice gap to the upside, right? Kind of chilled underneath VWAP, drifted lower, not too much out of Asia, London. Popped here into pre-market, came and put this overnight high in up here. Let me double check my level because I did set these early and I hopped on here last week and I had my level in the wrong place. So let me just check these one more time off the daily. You can see where my prior day high and low is coming off of. You can see where my overnight high and low is coming off of. So, yep, those are in the right spot. So, yeah, we popped up, put that overnight high in up here at the 63.15. We didn't go and crack prior day high at 63.22 3/4. And now we are back to VWAP, chopping, looking at this open. Sorry for making you guys dizzy here. Looking at this open, we popped right off the open, came right back down. We're kind of just chopping here, trading around the 6,300. We've loved this level, really continue to just trade around this level. Obvious, right? Big, round psychological number. You don't need many tools to recognize we are, wanting to hang out at a pretty large psychological number here. So for initial trades, right? Starting to frame some initial trades, what I'm looking at this. Potential movements. If you guys have been watching for a while, you can pretty much call out what I'm going to do. It's very, very simple. But just to start to frame it, maybe for some people that don't watch often, I like to take my first trades on ES and my main trades, right? Not just my first trades, as reversion style trades. We start to push to the open, or we start to push off the open here. We go and sweep maybe overnight high. I'm going to look for a sell, right? Counter to that initial movement back down towards VWAP, down to an area of high volume on the chart, maybe an area on Bookmap, which you're going to take a look at where we've got some liquidity lined up, right? Conversely, we start to sell off down towards maybe that overnight low level, maybe the 62.80s, where I can see we got a lot of orders on the book. I may look for a buy, right? A reversion back towards VWAP. I'm not looking for a huge extension. I'm not buying or selling breakouts. I'm trading counter to that initial movement here on the 1-minute chart, or again, maybe not just initial movement, but current movement on the 1-minute chart back towards area of high volume, right? I'm trading off of areas of interest, levels, support and resistance, supply and demand, order blocks, whatever you want to call an area on your chart that gives you a way to structure risk. Based on some historical price action, we have a way to react, a way to structure risk, and maybe a good way to manage our trades, right? Maybe create a little bit of an edge in the market that's going to allow us to make a little bit of money in the long term. At least that's what we're going to try to do, right? Don't know what happens on every individual trade, and we don't have to make money. What we do have to do is structure our risk. And again, I'm always speaking about myself when I say we, because nothing I say or do on here is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything, right? I'm an idiot. I'm not a financial advisor. We're here trading sim money and sim land, looking to turn a profit. But that's my game plan. So, again, just a little bit more, start framing some trades, right? Yeah, pretty simply, right off, honestly, on this one, right off overnight high or overnight low. A sweep of this, I'm going to look for a quick pop back in. Overnight high being at 63.15. We got orders all the way up to that level. Got quite a bit right above price right here into the 63, let's call it 63.08, 63.10s. I'd look for a crack up here towards, near, maybe above, this overnight high for a potential short opportunity. Give me a way to structure risk back down to the middle ground. Below that, I'd be looking off of overnight low, but probably a little bit below. We've got 141 on the book at 62.80, which I will show you here in just a moment. But that is my initial game plan here. Shorts off of sweeps of overnight high, longs off of overnight low. Now, a whole lot can happen. We don't have to go and hit either of those levels. A lot can happen in between that. How we get there, what we do when we're there, matters, right? So I say that. That's kind of the framing the potential idea. And then I apply some discretion. If we just knife down, right? If we just straight up knife down, does that mean I'm going to get long off of overnight low, right? As soon as we hit 62.90 or 62.80? No, right? It depends on how we get down there. What does volume look like? What does order flow look like as we're approaching this level? But I start with framing out key areas of interest to say, I would be interested around this level. And what happens when we get there, right? What does price action look like? Market structure look like? I'm going to make the discretionary decision to enter, not enter. What risk looks like, right? Trade management's pretty consistent, but that's the play here. Now, we don't go and hit any of these levels. We do a whole bunch of stuff first. Another opportunity could present itself, right? I've been taking some through the middle ground, right? Through VWAP, maybe more continuation style. If really we're not getting an extreme hit, maybe that presents, a way to get in and structure risk. But right here off the open, just looking at this as consolidating, right at VWAP, right? Chopping around this area of high volume, 6,300, right off of this level. Not a whole lot of direction so far. Right now, looks like we want to go and test the lows, maybe go trade towards that 62.80. We have a pretty low cumulative volume delta. Been paying attention more to CVD. You can get that a number of ways. I'll get it through Bookmap. I'll actually show you guys in a minute. I'll pull Bookmap up. But we're running a pretty negative cumulative volume delta, and that's continuing to drop off. That would indicate, the way that I read that, maybe just pattern recognition. We're more likely to continue to fill buy orders to the downside and go and crack towards that 62.80 level. Now, CVD continues to drop as we're, headed down there, and we don't start to pop. We don't start to get a little bit of divergence on that CVD, maybe a little bit of an incline in cumulative volume delta, a decrease, let's say, and how negative it is as price starts to bottom out there. Could be a little bit cautious, right, as we come through levels to the downside. Maybe that, we are setting up for a little bit more of a down day, a pullback. Market doesn't like what Trump and Musk are talking about. But we're going to hang out. The guy, what's up? There's Jose. What's going on? We got Mr. New York. Woke back up. Welcome to the show. Just got back from New York, my man. Good morning first. Good morning, afternoon from here. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Good afternoon from here. What's up? What's up? Andrew, what's up? Christy, what's going on? What is happening, guys? Yeah, right back to VWAP. Not a whole lot so far, right? Not a whole lot so far. Let's throw some links in the chat. What's going on, everybody? There we go. YouTube's popping off, looking good. Kick looking good. Got a handful of you guys again on X. Yeah, I got another 18-pack on X. Yeah. If you guys hopped on last week, Thursday, I did a last minute London stream. It's pretty cool. Hopped on super early in the morning Eastern time. That was pretty fun. It was crazy, man. Had pretty big numbers. It was cool to see so many people hop on. Obviously, I think there's just less competition for streaming, right? There's just not as many idiots from New York time zone up in the middle of the night streaming for London. But I might run that back. So if any of you guys made it on there, I appreciate you hopping on. My guy, what's up? What's going on? Right back down to right back up to VWAP. Kind of just shopping so far. Nothing too crazy. Go ahead and throw this bad boy in. Throw it in YouTube. Pin that message. We'll go ahead and throw this on X as well, because I can't post to X when I'm streaming here from StreamYard for some odd reason. But what I'm about to say is, first off, I'm partnered, I'm affiliated with Top 1 Futures and Bookmap. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. So grain of salt what I'm about to say, and do your own research, right? Because you're, hopefully, if you're able to have an internet connection and stream and watch somebody else trade, hopefully you have the cognitive ability to make a good decision for yourself by doing your own research. Always do your own research, make your own decisions. And now that we got that out of the way, here's what we got rolling from Top 1 Futures. 55% off. Their July 4th sale is running all week. You can copy trade up to nine Sim Pro accounts, straight to funded Sim Pro accounts. Hella cheap. These are difficult accounts to trade. Take a look at the updated ESS, the updated max loss limits. Make sure you understand the rules on these. These are intraday trailing drawdown accounts. If you say, hey, Zach, that's cool. I don't want intraday trailing drawdown. I want a nice end-of-day trailing drawdown that's nice and wide. I want to copy trade up to 3 of them. I want to pay a little bit more to have no ESS score. Maybe work myself towards a payout even faster. The OG instant funded accounts, the standard instant funded accounts from Top 1 Futures are 35% off with code RDF. Both of these deals, this one and the last one, and all deals, I'll let you know when this changes, are only with code RDF, or some other partners have a pretty solid code as well. But if you use the regular standard code from the email from the website, you ain't going to get this one, and you ain't going to get this one. Happy to have that for you guys. I always try to negotiate for the best deal, something better than whatever the normal stuff is. So 55% off with code RDF, better than what's in the site, the email, the promotion, the Discord, all that fun stuff. And for the standard funded stuff, which I think are really, really solid opportunities if you are looking for, good bang for your buck and solid accounts to work yourself towards payouts and hopefully to be considered for a live account. Code RDF. Code RDF. Ooh, starting to pop to the upside here. Show you guys Bookmap in just a minute. That's another one that is running a really badass deal. Bookmap deals like this do not come around often. Obviously, Top 1 runs quite a bit of deals, right? Quite a bit of different promotions. Prop firms seem to run a lot of them. Bookmap, you can get discounts, but this one is pretty wild. So I am going to I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to show you guys this in just a moment. Talk about that one because it's a pretty heavy deal on not only the subscription but to data, to level 2 data, which is really sweet. So. Yeah, so we popped to the upside here, trading out the 07s. Yeah, not a whole lot just yet. This is pretty calm, right? Not super volatile off the open. I'm looking for that overnight high. We get to crack towards that 315 level. I'm gonna look short up here. Stop loss quite a bit higher, above this prior day high level where I say, hey, if we come all the way up through prior day high and we don't reject here either, I'm just dead wrong and maybe we're blasting off. We're just gonna grind higher today. But I'm not going to short it from down here. That's really also just not enough opportunity. Like, even if we moved right back to VWAP, where I would be maybe wanting to consider some profit on a short from up here, that's not enough of a movement, right? Just not enough opportunity. So, nothing just yet. That's my play. Nothing just yet. Let's see what we got. Yes, 63.15s would be pretty sweet. Looking for a short. To the downside, it would be below the 62.90s, 62.80s. I'd be looking long. We chop around here, guys. I'm not gonna mess with this. Just not a whole lot in between here. Not really looking for anything right off of this one. If your play is just long, trying to find a way in long, I think this is presenting an opportunity, right? Higher low here, starting to break this high, right? Continuing to push this to the upside, holding VWAP, gives you a way to structure risk with a stop loss down below here. And you can run this bad boy long, right? A lot of traders right now, just given these markets, all-time highs, continuing to blast to the upside, their goal is just to kind of hop on the charts and find a way in long, right? And you can do that continually, find a way to structure risk. And if you just look at what happened the last couple of weeks, you probably wouldn't have done too bad just getting long off VWAP or first hold of VWAP or break of VWAP, opening range break to the upside. Nothing wrong with these plays. It's not my trade. It's just not my style. I don't like it. I don't have confidence in it. It's not really what I'm not at all really what I'm going for here. But there's nothing wrong with, kind of long off the open as soon as we're holding structure, finding a way to structure risk, because we're at all-time highs and you want to find your way in early and hang on to it all day and just, go catch the next big push to the upside. That's not my play, but I will acknowledge that. I've acknowledged it a couple times and it's played out, but not enough confidence in anything like that today. Again, looking at this, really bullish movement from higher time frames all the way down to lower time frames. 1 minute cracking back above VWAP, looking like we want to go try the highs, but not a setup for me. Definitely not yet, right? I'm more inclined to take something after we chop around for a while. We don't go trade the extremes, and then maybe trade back through VWAP on some force, on some momentum. We get some volume behind it, right? Just that's discretionary, but more inclined to do something like that maybe after we get a little bit more movement. So far, not too much here for me. So we're hanging tight. We are hanging tight. Trading a no news Monday here. Rich Boy Trades, what's up? Good morning, my guy. What's up, Wolf? How is it going, man? Going good on my end, man. Going good. No complaints. We're here. It's a beautiful Monday. Sun outside. I have the capacity to hop on here and trade with you guys. Healthy. No complaints. No complaints. Can't complain about that. I'm checking my check what my stream looks like through these different platforms. Yeah, you can see on both these on Kick and X. How you guys doing? What are we thinking today, guys? No news Monday after the holiday weekend, chopping a little bit of craziness in these markets. What are you guys' thoughts for today? Wolf says, you know what I think? It's right. Wolf says, headed to the right. That's funny. Yeah, I'm watching this. I'm going to pull Bookmap up here in a second. Just going to get some background music on. Going to pull Bookmap up here in just a second with you guys. Going to try to break out to the upside, seeing if we can continue this 15-minute opening range break for those of you that are the orb traders. All right. We got some focus music on. We're good to go. Let's pull Bookmap up. Show you guys what we're looking at and talk about the pretty heavy deal they got, man. Let's see. There we go. Let me go ahead and throw this in for you guys. I'm going to throw the link in the chat for Bookmap. Again, I'm partnered. I'm affiliated with Bookmap. I usually don't yap too much about this just because the Bookmap deal is just pretty standard. They have a wild one going for 4th of July. And I'm going to describe it because it's a little bit like long on the code side, but here's essentially what it is. If you guys don't know what Bookmap is, you could, whatever, you could just hang out. But if you're interested in Bookmap, Bookmap costs money. Got to pay for the subscription to Bookmap. Ooh, starting to sell off a little bit here. Got to pay for the subscription to Bookmap and the level 2 data. They got a pretty heavy one. And there's a deal on data, which they're almost, they give you something initially, but there's usually not something like this. So here's what they got. 50% plus 10%. So it's an additional 10% off of the normal stuff. 3 months of Global Plus, which is what you're looking at here, the full package, the most expensive badass one. And 50% plus 10% off of 3 months of data for a single stock, right? From DX feed or for futures for a single CME feed, right? For Bookmap data. So you're talking close to 60% since it's 50% plus 10%. 3 months of Global Plus and 3 months of data, which could set you up to get what I'm looking at here for a hell of a deal. Or if you say, I just want to go right for the annual deal and get an even better one, 40% off. 40% off of Global Plus annually. I'm going to throw both of these codes because they're like weird long codes in here. That's the first one. And this is the second one. Again, Bookmap does not usually have like back-to-back type of promos and things like that. I think these are good for the whole week also. Hang on one second, I'll tell you. Yeah, through July 11th. So take a look at Bookmap today as we're starting to sell back off. Turned right back around. That long 15-minute opening range break, not looking too good. Shorts off that level would have been paying a little bit. Yeah, not bad if you got, really aggressively short. Again, not my level up here. Chopping around VWAP, back and forth, consolidating. This is a whole lot of nothing for me so far. I don't know that we blast through these lows, but it looks like now that we're down here, it looks like we want to go try it. Now when we were up here, it looks like we want to go try it to the upside. Again, I'm still waiting for some levels to get hit. Potentially overnight low for some longs, overnight high for some shorts. I want to see what happens as we come down here. Like I said, down below this level to the 6280s, all the way down here, we got quite a bit of liquidity. So I'm a little bit cautious just jumping in long off this low. I want to see what happens as we start to get down here because I think if we continue, we're going to try it. If we continue here, I think we could head right down to the 80s, close to this prior day low level. I don't want to miss an opportunity trying it long up here, but I'm going to watch to see what happens as we approach this, right? I said that a couple times off the open, the 80s to the 90s, which is a big zone today based on just the volatility that we're seeing, which is not a whole lot. But I want to see what this looks like to the downside before we do anything too crazy. Yeah, this is pretty calm. It's pretty calm. If you run an ATR, you'll notice it's pretty calm for what we've been seeing. No news Monday, post holiday weekend, right? Not a whole lot going on, but also just the summer slowdown, man. Summer slowdown. Usually, the summer slump that comes in, markets just tend to slow down, chop, consolidate, pretty illiquid, that type of a deal. Still on long. Nice. Andrew's still sending it long. I'm going to try to find a way in here. But we need something. Need something to work with. Answering a couple messages. Let's take a look what we got rolling in here. Swept the low, came right back up. Not continuing. Not continuing. Let's see. We gonna start to sell off on this bad boy? Or are we just gonna chop? This is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting here. This is kind of interesting here. We come back through this to the upside. Again, we're just chopping, right? We're expanding now. Here's what I mean by expansion. Let me come back over. Again, if you guys have questions on Bookmap, you got questions on anything, feel free, throw them in the chat. Trading related, I should say. Every once in a while, I get the dumbass troll comment or question, and we just ignore and block those. Let me hop back over to the main screen here. I'm gonna get some cool transitions rolling here soon. I'm working with a graphic designer to get some help on that. I'm gonna be looking real fancy to keep you ADD folks like me entertained as we're moving stuff around like that, so you don't have to just look at my big face. So kind of just expanding here, and here's what I mean by that. Here's the open. Let's throw a vertical line on the open. There's our open, right? What have we done so far? Here, let's go the minute before so we can see. Well, we popped up at the open, right? We put a high in here. And we came back down and we broke these lows right here. And then we came up and we broke this high over here, right? And then we came back down. We broke this low over here. And now we came back up here. So I classify this as expansion, right? There's kind of just, I don't know, that's not a really technical or fancy term, but when we're consolidating, nice and tightly, which is also what I would consider this, right? Rangy, choppy, consolidating price action. We're usually either contracting, right? We're not touching highs and lows, right? We start to do this. Kind of get tighter and tighter, and sometimes that can indicate a big breakout or maybe a sweep and then an immediate breakout, that type of deal. If we're not doing that when we're ranging, sometimes we're just really cleanly respecting highs. We're getting really close, just sweeping them, or not really breaking out. Or we're kind of doing what we're doing today, which is that expansion type movement. Go up and sweep the high, don't continue, no breakout, no continuation, come all the way back down, chop around, break the low, come all the way back in, chop around, maybe go break the high. This is kind of the most deadly for most traders from what I've seen, because, we sweep a high and we come down and sweep a low. That kind of looks like a breakout to the downside, right? That looks like liquidity grabbed up here. Maybe we're continuing. Maybe just breaking a high, that people taking breakout longs. So it can catch like orb traders and breakout traders pretty roughly when we start to do this crap. But that's kind of what we're seeing so far. Do we pick a direction here and we stop doing that and we just start to sell off? That would look pretty good, right? That would look like we came up here, swept this high, broke out to the downside. Now we are coming down lower on some volume. We're not really doing that just yet. We're kind of still just chopping. We came right back up to VWAP. Now, again, up here, this looked pretty good for a long, right? Framed out something. Hey, we held, VWAP or chopped around VWAP, came up above, higher low on the way up, higher high in this little 1 minute time frame, structure, and we're looking pretty good. Well, now as we get down below this level, not looking bad for a short. To me, it's not clear, right? It's really not clear, and even more so, there's not a good way to structure risk on this, in my humble opinion. I don't want to stop right above session high or low, right? I want to stop outside of an overnight high or low, or stop outside of a prior day high or low, right? Where I say I'm getting short against this or long against this or whatever it is, and I'm dead wrong if we come back through this. Now, if we continue, right, we come down and break this low, that would really give you some confirmation in the shorts, and then you might say, hey, I want to take this short on the breakout now, because it's not the first break, it's another break of a low. And a stop loss just above session high might make sense, because I think we're coming down to trade out at least that liquidity at the 80s, if not prior day low, if not way down below, because I think we're going to sell off today, right? I wouldn't mind that. I could see that. I'm not going to take the breakout to the downside. That's not my play. just too choppy, right? Too rangy, too choppy. Zach calls it expanding. I call it BSing. Yeah, BSing, right? Just kind of not a lot of opportunity. Again, we get that sometimes. I want to take nice, quick scalp trades. I trade pretty damn aggressively on here with you guys. If nothing sets up, I hang and wait patiently, ready to go. And nothing sets up. You know, that's it. I'm not a just couple tick scalp trader throwing trades on willy-nilly with no explanation. That's just not my stream. I try to get as aggressively as I possibly can to intentionally be able to take trades with you guys. And keep this thing entertaining and show you how I manage risk, manage my trades, all of that. But I try to avoid just getting caught up in I'm live trading, so let me just hit the buy or sell button, right? Let me just flip a coin for no reason at all and have a dumb way to structure risk. I just don't want to do that. So I try to find a balance is what I'm saying here. Yeah, yeah. Andrew Long, nice, man. Yeah, we talked about that. Let's see. Yeah, came back up on this. Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot just yet. Let's see. We come back down and try this to the downside. Is that going to be the play? Looks like it. Trading back down through these 6,300s into the 90s. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, and again, guys, Monday, right? No news Monday. Really, not a whole lot. I don't want to be the first person to just blast off here and just start ripping through capital. It doesn't usually set the tone really well for the week. Some of that's mindset, right? Just kind of taking that into consideration, but yeah, I'm not feeling super like I got to jump directly into anything. We start moving. We hit my level. So I'm going to start looking. Luna Trades, what's up? We got Luna Trades in the chat. Luna was on the stream. If you guys don't know, Luna is a crypto whale billionaire. He might actually be Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't know. But he's in hiding in some third world villa. No, I'm just kidding. Luna Trades is the real deal. He's another live trader. Not just another live trader, but somebody who's super transparent, talks about his journey, all the good and the bad. I try to do the same, right? Not try to present myself as the end-all, be-all, or know-it-all. Quite the opposite, right? Just a regular idiot trying to turn a profit here, and I kind of show you what I show you along the way. But if you want to watch another live streamer who is killing it on YouTube all the time, click on that profile and go ahead and hit subscribe. He's got a ton of growth through YouTube for I think that reason, right? People want to see the real stuff. Right? And maybe that means not watching the best trader in the world or whoever calls themselves, whatever it is. And just kind of slowly trying to turn a profit and maybe make it to get considered for a live account in the future with some of these props or just, do whatever we're doing. But yeah, if you want to check Luna out, he is in the chat right now. Thanks, dog. Trying to get chopped today. Trying not to get chopped today. Yeah, same. Sitting patient. I'm no trade, brother. No trade. Zach, real deal futures. Luna, real deal crypto. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Luna does trade futures props, though. Trades a bunch of futures props. But if you're interested in the crypto side of things, I don't talk or touch that at all. And he does. But yeah. Morning, Ralph. What's going on? What's going on? HPL Solutions, possible long. Yeah, possible long coming up. Again, I'm watching this start to turn to the downside, right? If you remember what I've been talking about, my levels, my areas of interest, very simple. I've got one that's going to be overnight low, right? Just the low end of this consolidation. I don't know that I want to dive directly in at that level. I want to watch what happens as we come down, but it's getting pretty close. The 6280s, if we came through this really aggressively, I'm cautious of those 6280s because that would be really closing this down here, closing this, coming all the way down into this area consolidation, right? The low end of this, and we got quite a bit on the book for today, right? Not a ton on another day, but a decent amount of liquidity down there today, right? Lit up on Bookmap, which we saw earlier. 159, it looks like. It's getting a little heavier. Let's see. Got two levels there. Looks like the 81s, we got 159, and then 156 that came on more recently at the 6280s. So I'm a little bit cautious of that to the downside. I'd prefer not to have my stop right there, but I'm going to see what happens as we come down into this. I could see this long, again, off of overnight low. We just chop here or we turn here and go to the upside. It's just not a level, right? It's not an area for me. The 62.94 for me, maybe it's your level, right? Down out of the low end of this, area of high volume, right into this consolidation, and you're going to look for a long. Maybe you say, nope, we're finally breaking the downside. I'm getting short, and I'm going to go stop loss, just above VWAP, because as long as we stay below that, I want to be short on this. Plenty of different ways that you could trade it. I'm framing out what I'm looking for and waiting for, and if we don't get that, then that's how I avoid getting chopped, right? Sometimes I do get chopped because I'm taking trades that line up with my system, my approach, and that's just what happens sometimes. But I avoid it. I try to avoid it to the best of my abilities by not just always getting involved, right? With regardless of a setup, just being at every day at 9:45, I have a trade on. Well, every day at 9:45, we're doing something drastically differently, or some days we are. So how do you have some kind of consistent way to approach the market if you're just long or short every day at the same time, right? Maybe that works well for just, sim farming your way to payouts, but we're watching how that's not playing out too well in the future space right now, which is a whole nother rant that I don't know that I want to go on right now. Checking a couple messages. So, yeah. Looking good. Separate channel for crypto. Nice. That's so funny. I got a green water bottle. You can't see it on the screen. Just realized that. Wolf says, in my humble opinion, NQ doesn't want to go down. YM wants to go down. ES is being pulled stretched in the middle. In your humble opinion, Wolf, let's hear it. What does that mean for ES? Up, down, don't know. Interested to hear. And while we're hanging out with no trades so far, I'm going to go ahead and throw my Discord. And I get asked more and more about that, and I share this the least. Right. Yeah, there you go. Oh. I run a 100% free trading Discord. Not a VIP. Not a VIP feeder. Not a course that I try to sell you. None of that stuff. Of course, I yap about the partners, the programs, the companies that I'm affiliated with. But I answer questions in there. We talk markets, we talk news, we talk prop firms, we talk everything in between. More than happy to have you in there. 100% free Discord. That's how I like to do it. Free 99, right? And if you don't like it, I'll give you a refund. The refund is $0. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. This is not a whole lot. We started to dip. CVD bounced right back up. We got some volume on these quick movements to the downside. You can see it here, right down on the bottom as well, traditional volume. But this is just not really directional. We're kind of just BSing. This feels like we want to get bought right back up through the 6300s now and dance around VWAP. I don't have a trade off of this yet. I'm gonna hang out. I'm not going anywhere. I had a bunch of fun. We ran the stream long. in the overnight. But I'm gonna hang tight with you guys. Which brings me to another question. Chat, how many of you guys that are in here? I don't know. Most of you guys are in New York time. I think Wolf was on the overnight. Anybody in here want to see that overnight stream? I put up crazy numbers streaming in the middle of the night. I had a flight get canceled, and I was supposed to be trading live on Thursday morning, 9:30 a.m. And instead of doing that, I got back home and said, you know what? I'm just gonna hop in at like 2:30 in the morning and stream. So if any of you guys would hop on a London live stream, Asia, London, overnight, pre-market, whatever you want to call it, middle of the night for me, Eastern, let me know in the chat. I'm interested to hear. But I had a ton of people hop on, really across. But especially like X, I had like 110 or something, 100 people on X. It was pretty cool. I'm assuming that's just because I was the only idiot from New York streaming at that time. There's just not a lot of nobody that I follow is streaming live at that time. I'm sure there's a lot of traders on the other side of the world that stream that, so you probably can catch them. But Wolf says me. There we go. Yeah, I'll probably run it. I was there. Andrew, yeah, man. I participated in that live. Nice. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a couple more. I don't know. I don't think I can stream just like mentally and physically. I don't know that I could stream for London overnight at like wake up at 2 in the morning, stream from like 2:33 until like 5:30, and then continue right into New York Open. So I'll probably like alternate it. Maybe I'll do like one or the other. But it was fun. It was fun. Much slower moving market, right? Very, very slow, usually choppy, consolidating movement. Took a W, and then it actually sold off. It was so damn long into the stream, and I was getting ready to head to the airport, so I clipped it. But it would have been a nice full W. But yeah, I'll probably do some of those. I'll keep you guys updated on socials and in Discord. So hop in the Discord if you want to catch any of those. I got my schedule set for 9:30 a.m. Eastern every day this week. But maybe we change that up. Maybe we mix something in. Get a nice London overnight stream. It really brought back memories because I really got when I really got serious about trading, I was waking up to do that. I was trading Forex, trading London Open in the FX market. And I would work a full day of work. I'll talk about this sometimes, talk about interviews and stuff. But I would work a full day of work, right? The way I was doing just for forever. And I would come home, maybe read, study a little bit, trading wise, back test, do whatever. Go to sleep as early as I possibly could, set an alarm for literally like the middle of the night, right? Like it was actually before London Open that I was getting up. And then trade, personal account, maybe read more back test, maybe try to catch a small nap before going into work and working a full day, and then just rinse and repeat. And I did that for quite a while. I was also paying attention to the markets during the day. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't doing that. Was really immersive. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not bragging to talk about that. I just needed to find the time to get a ton of screen time and make all those mistakes and really start to build some consistency. And that definitely helped. But it reminded me of that. It reminded me of waking up in the middle of the night, trying to have some coffee, splash some water in my face, and be awake at 1:30, 2 in the morning to get on the charts and start doing markup and then trade for hours, in the nice silence of the night. But it was fun. So I'll do some more of those. I'll figure it out. That was fun. Sounds tempting, but the last time I traded London session, the wife made me sleep on the couch. Yeah. All right. This is fun. So when I was doing that, when I started to do that, I had an alarm go off, and my wife was like, "You're out of your fucking mind if you think an alarm's gonna go off in the middle of the night when we're both sleeping and that's gonna be okay." So I started sleeping with my Apple Watch on, which I actually did this last time around, and I would have it just for vibrate, so I would wake up and try to not wake her up. And then a few times I did the same thing. Like I would come in and out of the room, or if you have family and you're there asleep, you got to look at it like you're an overnight nurse or something, that type of deal. They have a protocol. So it took me a minute to figure that out. And and if I was going to go back to sleep or catch a couple hours of sleep or something, oftentimes I would just try not to wake up, my family, right? Which I think is fair. And also, if I hop on, I'm probably not going to be screaming in the room, right? But That's yep. But yeah, HPL. If you wake up to stream, maybe try not to wake your wife up. I mean, wake up to trade. Try not to wake your wife up. If you go back, try to go back to bed. Maybe it's the couch to catch some extra hours. That's funny though, man. That's funny. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but I do say like I gotta credit that to a lot of the time that I spent learning and making mistakes because I was getting cooked when I was doing that. I was getting absolutely smoked. That was some real frustrating time, but I progressed there a lot and I started to gain a lot of consistency. But you got to make it happen somehow, right? And I was working my career of many years. It was going well, making good money, which was cool. But I just didn't have time during the day to focus. And right before and right after, like, didn't make a lot of sense. I wanted to trade a specific time, maybe, a market open. And that's what I did for a while. I was also watching a lot of Forex guys that were trading that time. So I was also influenced to think that that was a smart thing to do. But not really sustainable. I don't think being at work 8 to 10 plus hours a day and then also being awake in the middle of the night, trying to sleep 2 times is really sustainable for a long period of time. So what I'm talking about doing is waking up to do it, and then not trading New York Open maybe, or waiting for the afternoon or something. So yeah, you guys are laughing at that. Yeah. Here we are back to VWAP, man. Hanging out, choppy market. That's cool. I'm gonna hang out for a while, guys. I'm really not going anywhere yet. I'm gonna hang. I'm gonna make this a longer stream. I got capital to trade here. I've got a 7-pack of these straight to sim funded. Just so you guys know where I'm at with different accounts. Obviously, what I'm trading live on here with you guys primarily is the straight to funded Sim Pro. I also have the 3-pack of instant funded. I technically could have more of these right now, but I don't see the need to. Maybe I'll add on more. I don't know. But right now, I just didn't add on more for the July 4th promotion. I've got these off the original promotion, and I've been copy trading them all together. So I'm either going to blow them or go to a payout with them. But I'm taking all of these accounts slow. Top One Futures has made it very clear that they are not in the business or looking to move super aggressive sim traders that are just blowing through accounts on the way to payouts live. And I'd like to have some longevity with Top One. So taking these somewhat slow, but that's subjective. Same with the 3-pack of instant funded standard stuff. I also have a bunch of Top Step accounts, which I hardly trade. Probably just going to get stupid aggressive with those. But along with that, I have my nice live account set up. Personal brokerage, right? Live cash account. Trading that through Motive Wave, which is pretty cool. Just started testing that last week. So I'm excited to be trading that. I'm only sharing that to tell you that it's a lot of different things to be focused on in trading. And if the market's going to chop for a while, I'm just going to hang out, stay patient, relax with you guys, not really be too focused up to drain myself mentally, and wait for something to happen because I would like to put risk on and find a trade. So that's my play. Trading the ES in pre-market is like watching paint dry. I mean, the slowest, yeah. Can consider NQ, MNQ for pre-market, just unsolicited opinion. Yeah. I hear that, Wolf. I hear that. It was very slow. The overnight session for ES, from what I saw, very slow. Like, very, very low volatility. Very calm. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not convinced in this one way or the other, guys. I'm really not. I'm just gonna hang tight. Maybe I don't get a trade, but I'm gonna wait to see if we can kind of trade to one of these extremes and give me something. I'd love to hop into something. Just a matter of being patient. Yep, that's the key, friends. That's the key. It's looking a little wiggly to the downside here. Let's see what we get. That's looking a little bit wiggly to the downside, guys. Let's see if we come back down through this low or we start to get buyers stepping in here. Let's see. Hmm. While we're hanging out, waiting for this thing to do something. Trading summer is like, you know that meme? I'm gonna pull the meme up. You know that meme where it's like the guy with the stick and it's like, come on, do something? That's what I feel like trading some of these summer sessions, man. It's like, come on, man. Come on, ES, do something. And then eventually it, rips your face off in one direction. It definitely does something. But while we are hanging out waiting for that, just to remind you guys, we have giveaways here every dang week. Random days, random times, but I have multiple 50K accounts to give away this week. Straight to funded pro accounts every week on the live sessions. Right now, they are 9:30 a.m. Eastern every single day. You got to be on for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Form drops. Again, random day, random time. I'm not doing one right now. So everybody chill out. You got a chance to win. Shout out Top One Futures for that. But I'll remind you guys, we got some fun stuff coming up this week. Multiple every week. It's awesome to give back. I used to love a chance to win something when I was on other people's live streams. And I think it's awesome to be able to give back to the community. I got some other stuff cooking. I went crazy at the beginning of June, and I definitely had to back off a little bit. But I'm going to go crazy again pretty soon. I got some other stuff cooking. Stay tuned. Hop on the live sessions. As the channel continues to grow, right, and the streaming stuff and content, and, you guys support me, I'm just going to try to do more and more to give back. I'm going to try to think of fun, creative ways to do that. So right now, we got multiple accounts getting given away on these live sessions. And like I talk about, I think y'all have a pretty good chance of winning, just given the not an enormous amount of people that hop on my live sessions. Like a chance to win a straight to funded account, I think is pretty high on my sessions. It's not thousands and thousands of people, right? You could probably see whatever platform you're on, how many people are on with you. So when the form drops, you get a pretty good shot. Let's see. Been a little busy with work for that. Trading to the extremes today or any day is going to be the key. Yeah, man. Again, trading the way that I trade ES here, what you guys have been watching over the last few weeks, months, it benefits in a couple ways. The downside is when we start to break out in trend, you get your face ripped off. And I had that to the upside a couple times, getting short on these, ripping markets to the upside. But if we are going to chop and range, you can kind of protect yourself a little bit. Not saying that it's going to generate a really nice winning trade, but at very least, you can prevent yourself from getting in the middle of all of it, attempting to wait to trade from the extremes, which I think can be cool. So here we go, coming through the low. Let's see. Let's see. We're going to go sweep this overnight low level. I'm probably going to try this one, guys. We could really break out like really aggressively to the downside. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to watch what happens as we come through. If we just immediately slice through, I'm going to be a little bit cautious. But I'm going to try this long below overnight low. I think we're likely to just kind of come down, dip into this area. I don't know that we come all the way through to prior day low and we come and like sweep that. Honestly, at that point, we're looking pretty damn weak. I might look to try that on another account later in the day if I get my face ripped off here first. But I'm going to look for this as a sweep down below these levels, come and test overnight low, and to pop back up. I don't see a ton of volume to the downside that just looks like we want to break and rip. We just keep testing these lows. I'm not going to get a trade, but I'm looking long below the 90s, 62.90s. That would be coming through. We got 155 on the book at 62.90. I like that for a long play right off of this level down here, right below overnight low. I think there's likely some stops here, right? Quite a bit of liquidity. And if I'm wrong, I got a decent way to structure risk, right? I'm wide, all the way down into the 80s. And if we have to come all the way down there, again, I don't love having a stop right where we got another level of liquidity. But I think if I'm wrong, I'm going to get my face ripped off pretty quickly, and we are just going to trade lower. So that is going to be my first play here. Looking long off of these 90s. Again, give me a way to structure risk back towards VWAP, right? I don't need it to be a huge day. It can just be a choppy day. It could pull back, and that would give me a way to get stop into profit and potentially generate a win here. And if I'm wrong, I'm very clearly wrong, right? We are not rejecting off of overnight low. We are not rejecting off the 90s, off of this area of liquidity. Sellers are in store. We're continuing lower. At very least, they want to come all the way down to the 80s, right? Maybe 10 points lower, and I'm wrong. Just dead wrong. That is my play. What about the gap below overnight low? Wouldn't you wait for gap fill? Yeah, gap down to this area. You could wait. You could wait for the gap to be filled. I don't trade specifically off of a gap, whether or not there is one. If you go back and take a look, there's statistics from like Edgeful and different companies that do it. Gaps typically get filled, right? Especially real physical gaps here, right? Not just where we closed and where we opened. Nice physical gaps like this in the extended trading hours chart. These typically get filled. They typically get filled the next trading session, right? Next trading day, or if not, like the day after, the stack continues to grow. The chart just typically doesn't leave gaps. But for me, I don't say, okay, well, there's a gap, so I'm going to do something totally different than what I usually do. That's there. Liquidity is where it is. Overnight low is where it is. Prior day low is where it is. I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to wait until, we trade through that or into that for any specific amount, of time. For me, I like right through to this level, right kind of into that for a potential wick up, right? That's my play. Short for a gap fill, right? These are those are super simple, super duper simple trades you could take that have some nice statistics around it. But yeah, that's pretty much my answer to that. Not going to wait for a specific level just because there's a gap there. Not continuing just yet, though. Not continuing just yet. But good point out, right? Good point out. Important to note that, right? That's market structure that we'd want to pay attention to, right? Taking a look. I can look at this even on the 15. Taking a look at that bad boy, right? And looks like we're going to go fill it, right? So maybe short, you were like, hey, we're going to go and fill that gap. I'm getting short on this bad boy. Forget the long play. Forget the trend. I want to always go trade for that gap fill. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'd like a wick right down here, man. I would definitely try that one. And this is probably one I would run back on another account. I don't know that I would hammer these. I'd look long off of this. And if I did get my face ripped off, just straight to stop loss, whether or not I'm on the live, I would take a look at what happens down here because I could see a long off of that level as well. Ooh. I could see a long, especially if that liquidity stays on the book down at the 80s. I could see a long down there as well. Let's see what we get. Watching paint dry with you guys so far. Slowly drifting lower. Slowly drifting lower, right? We got some structure to the downside now. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get down here. Yeah, while we're pulling back up on this, getting a little bit farther away from my entry point. Be right back, guys. Gonna grab some water. Hang tight. I'll be back. Might get an entry coming up here soon, so. We're back. We're back in action. Not a whole lot yet. Let's see. Let's see. If we wick below 62.80, then it's a lower low. I was thinking long after the gap fill, as the high time frame is bullish. Also, higher low can be established at 62.80. I see all that. I could see all that, my friend. a chop fest. I'm hands off for now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is slow. I mean, we got directional movement now a little bit to the downside. Just not a trade for me. Still nothing. Maybe you got short off of VWAP and that paid nicely to the downside. Broke below, come back up, test VWAP, sweep this little high here. You could find your way into some stuff in between here, but this is just not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. So I'm hanging out. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait it out. Looking to get something. And I'm genuinely just not done trading for the morning, so. Let's see what the market's got for me today. Kobe, if anything, looking to chase the bottom wicks for a fake out and watch for an inverse from there. Yep. That's about the same. It's about the same as what I'm going for, Kobe. Right? Just looking for it off a level. I like to have nice levels of interest on my chart, marked at specific points. So that's what I am going for, my brother. Coming back down. Do we want to try this low, man? Gosh, it is like watching paint dry. I'm trying to hang out, trying to stay patient. So we'll see, guys. I'm looking long off of that overnight low level. What happens when we get down there is going to play a role into whether or not I'm actually going to, smash that button. But that's my game plan. I don't know that we do it. This kind of just looks like we want to chop around, but we'll see. In any event, guys, I'm here live trading. Let me throw that banner up. I'm here live trading on YouTube and Kick now almost every damn day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 100% free. If you guys don't know me, since we got some people that hopped on, I don't claim to be the best trader. I don't claim to have it all figured out. I don't claim anything, really, but outside of telling you that I'm a regular idiot looking to try to make some money in the markets. But no crazy leaderboards, no crazy live P&L accounts, all that crazy stuff. None of that. If you want to just watch a regular idiot look to make some money in the markets, show you the wins, losses, break-evens, run-ups, making money with prop, making money with live, and lost accounts, everything in between. Somebody that's been doing it for like 6 years and putting out content for over a year, where all of my live sessions are free and my Discord is free and everything stays up and I don't have to tell you anything about my trading because you could all just watch it here and hang out. I'm happy to be that guy. Happy to have this community. I appreciate you guys all being here. So if that sounds good to you, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow wherever you're following or wherever you're at. Along with that, account giveaways, multiple 50K account giveaways from Top 1 Futures here on my live streams every single week. Going to be doing even more than that coming up soon because we're continuing to grow across YouTube, across socials. It's crazy. I really, it's crazy to have almost 2,000 people in the Discord, man. So I appreciate all you guys, and I'm going to continue to give back. So if that all sounds good, man, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow wherever you're at. You don't have to do anything. Free means free, but happy to have you on. Really happy to have you guys on. I also put out a ton of content across socials, IG, a bunch of reels and story, you know, personal life and all kinds of stuff that's going on. YouTube, I do a ton of long form tutorials. I have tutorials for Project X that we're looking at, a bunch of informational stuff on Top 1 futures, trading, mindset, back testing, bookmap. I got another one dropping today on bookmap, specifically talking about the simple way that I utilize it, you know, kind of what we're looking at on a bookmap chart and the deals they got running. But yeah, as always, guys, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hopping on to live sessions, chatting it up, sharing your journey, right? And I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome to have a community of actual people trying to trade. I think the internet's got enough of all you got to do is follow what I'm doing, and you'll make $1 zillion, and it'll just take you 5 minutes. Enough of that. In it for the journey. Let's see. Guys, I'm just watching this start to come down to try to test these 90s. I'm taking this long off this level. I don't know that we get it, man. I could front run the order up here. But I'm going to look for one spike down, and I'm going to look to aggressively enter this long. So hang tight. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, I mean, again, this could get dicey. This is pretty aggressive. I'm not going to wait for a whole bunch of confirmation. We do have liquidity down below. You know, the indices are starting to drift lower here on ES. So I'm looking, you know, counter to what's happening right here in this price action. But it's the same play that I look for every day here. So let's just take a look and see what we get. Yeah, going to be looking long. 288's got 112 on it. That wouldn't be a bad spot. If we got a wick down there, that would be pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this, you know, I'm gonna mark it in. That's my game plan. There we go.
Order filled.
I'm long, right to 288. Just what I was looking at there. I said a wick down to 288 would be pretty sweet. We had 100 and some odd on the book. This is again pretty aggressive, guys, because I entered on a really aggressive candle to the downside here. I'm gonna look to see if we bounce. Here. I'm risking getting my face ripped off as always. Entering aggressively long on a play like this, but I am long one from 62.88 and 3/4. Let's see if we get some buyers stepping in on this one. Really aggressive wick down, but this was the movement that I was waiting for, right? This was really the movement that I was waiting for all morning. An aggressive way to get in long to run this bad boy to the upside. So that's my play. We got to trade on. It ain't a no trade session, right? It's either going to be a win or a loss. Small win, larger win, small loss, larger loss. There we go. Can we get a reaction here? So again, if you guys watch me trade, let me get rid of this noise. What do we got? Discord making noise. Trying to get distracted. So if you watch me trade, if you've been here before, you guys know my play once I get into trades. It's pretty consistent, pretty straightforward. Nothing if we move into drawdown, right? It's a full stop if it just comes and rips my face off. I don't close early. I don't move stop loss around. I don't move it farther away. I don't move it farther up. If we move into profit the way that we're doing right now and we continue, I trail stop into profit. I don't trail right away. I don't go stop loss to break even right away. I don't go on a couple points the way we just popped back up 3.5 points. That's not enough to move stop loss. It stays exactly where it is. As we move into profit further than that, and there is somewhat of a consistent way that I run this. Pretty damn consistent. I drag stop loss into profit behind price pretty tightly. And I'm typically tagged out on a little bit of a dip down, a pullback, because I trail pretty tightly down behind price. These are intraday trailing drawdown accounts, so it behooves me, at least in my humble opinion, and what I'm approaching this with, because I'm not the intraday trailing drawdown expert. I have no experience on them outside of what you've seen me trade live in these accounts. But I believe, based on the basic math and the way that it functions, it behooves us to trail into profit, to not allow a trade to move all the way into profit and then come all the way back through your entry all the way to stop out. That would generate a much larger trail up in that max loss limit and then a full stop out. So you end up taking, smaller stop outs, right? Because as you're aggressively trailing behind price, there's going to be a lot of times where it just comes down and takes you out and then starts to continue. But it's a nice way to say, I'm never going to capture the whole move. I'm never going to have a take profit maybe at a huge level that goes and jumps and gets hit. But I just take what the market gives me, right? For this one, yeah, I'd be looking towards VWAP, right? This would be fine. For profit, right? If we really just did continue to the upside, more than happy with just back near VWAP, right? That's the advantage of waiting for something from the extreme, at least for the range that we've got so far. The disadvantage is we're breaking to the downside, right? This is showing weakness. I waited for a specific level to jump in long, but as always, I like to mention it, I'm counter to that movement that we initially got to the downside. So let's see if it's just an overnight low sweep, or if we're going to come down through prior day low, we're going to come down through this gap, we're going to trade all the way down through the 80s. I will say right here, right now, I think if we start to break, it's going to be aggressive. I think if sellers are going to step in here and they are going to continue this lower, it's going to be a really aggressive push down through the 80s. Conversely, if we start to chop here the way that we are, hold this level, I think we got a good chance of running right back up to VWAP, taking everybody out that got short here, blasting out stops around VWAP all the way up back to these 300s. But yeah, 6300s, I'd be cautious, right? Because that's just an area we've been hanging out at, rejecting from, finding support at, for a while. So let's see. Let's see if we get a rejection off of overnight low, off that level that I was waiting for. Got a good entry for what I wanted, right? I saw that liquidity at the 88s. We wicked down, immediately started to reject. Market in, stop loss is set, 10 points away. Now it's just time to let the market do whatever it's going to do, right? Let time play out in our favor. Do I know if this one's going to be a winner or a loser? Nope, not a clue. And you don't need to make money, right? Anybody that tells you that they know what's going to happen next in the market, just go ahead and ask them why they didn't put every single dollar that they have on that individual trade. They don't, because they don't know what's going to happen next, right? That's why we manage risk. And I know that's repetitive, but coming to terms with that, really coming to terms with that, reflecting on that, creating a core belief around that, helped me a lot in trading. Helped me from going on tilt, from being angry when I took a loss and just being so pissed off. You got to ask yourself, like, do you think you know what's going to happen next on every single trade? Do you really think that you know exactly what's going to happen? You're going to have 100% win rate, or even close to 100% win rate, an 80 or 90 or 70% win rate, which is pretty damn good. Really good, depending on what your risk to reward is. If the answer is no, then why are you all pissed off? Why are you all angry, right? Why are you placing so much importance on any one trade? Probably shouldn't. Probably shouldn't. You should wait patiently for your setup to present itself the way that I did here today. Enter aggressively without hesitation or reservation when you have what you need, letting the market come to you. Structure your risk. Fully accept that risk, right? That $500 stop across these accounts. I'm like, no problem, man. We take that. I'm happy with, not happy, but I'm totally cool. I understand the risk that I'm putting on. I accept that. We could blast right through that and I could get slipped. And then past that, manage your trade. Manage the trade that way that you're supposed to manage your trade, whatever that means to you, whatever your trade management style is. Let the trade be a winner or a loser, and then move on with your day. That's what I tell myself. Let's see what we got. Long from 62.88 and 3/4, y'all. Let's see what we could do. Let's see what we can do. See what the market's got for me today. Yeah, not wanting to rip our face off just yet. Not wanting to rip our face off just yet. Yeah, the 95s could be a little bit of a problem, but I really like the 6300s. I think even if we are going to sell off pretty aggressively, I mean, this was a pullback up to VWAP, so maybe that's all we had to do before we really just dip lower. We got some liquidity down below, but we got some buying volume, really not wanting to give up these 88s. We come through it really aggressively. Like, I'd be okay, pretty damn confident with a test of like the 85s, like another wick lower, and then a reaction. That wouldn't be too bad because we got quite a bit of buy orders sitting right down to like the 85s. But if we come through that level really quickly, like the 85s, like aggressively, and we don't reject, probably gonna take a stop. But if we keep driving it higher right now, drag stop into profit and try to grab a couple $100. That's going to be my play. But yeah, not a whole lot to do once I jump into a trade. If it's sitting around break even or sitting around entry, once we start to move into profit, finger on the trigger to drag that stop loss up. Back through. Let's see. Do we get a rejection after filling maybe some buy orders right down below this price? Interesting. We're fixing to find out, as they say in the South. Let's see what we get. Let's see. Another sweep of the lows. Yeah, decision-making time, right? I like the I like at least when a level is initially respected, right? Like, we don't know if this is just going to absolutely break to the downside or pop to the upside here. But I like when I jump in on something like this and I don't just completely get my face ripped off, right? It happens. It will, happen. Could happen today as far as after this consolidation. But I like at very least, you see where my entry is, reasons why I was looking off this level. We did have buyers at least attempt to step in and defend this. Now, let's see if they give it up and we just fall to the downside, or we start to get a nice rejection here and gives me a way to structure risk, right? But I like the way that at least we tried here. At least we tried, right? If I enter short here and we just immediately blast up, I go, well, It happens every so often, but at least I get an entry where buyers are trying it, right? What I viewed and what I anticipated based on historical price action and reacted to was initially there, right? Does it work out? Does it give me a way to structure risk? Do I manage the trade well enough to actually realize a profit? All that stuff is out for debate. Again, to the downside, I'm okay with the 85s. I think we got quite a bit of buy orders sitting right there below price. We also got 325 right in front of price, right here at the 90s. 2 points above sell side. So that's going to be interesting to see if we go and pop that. Here we go. Let's see what happens. $200 on the short, nice. Targeting VWAP, yep. Talking about that. Let's go. What's going on? Reading some of you guys chat. $200 on the short. Waited 15, 20 minutes for it to hit my trailing. That's okay. Content. Yeah, I do use the DOM. But let me read this one first. I know, Zach. I know where price is going. I don't put every single dollar because market makers. Yeah. See, market makers. Yeah, Wolf's keeping an eye on those guys for us. Thank you. Not liking this. Looking dangerous, being long below VWAP and EMAs without a quick rejection off that level yet still. Yeah, I think discretion, right? Subjectivity as far as what's dangerous or not dangerous or, good or bad. Would I like to see it immediately pop to the upside? Absolutely. Again, there's a process that comes into this, right? Some consistency that we apply. And what I do is remove my discretion right here. Right? Where I used to apply a lot more discretion to trade management itself, and that could be very helpful. It's very difficult and presents as a double-edged sword in a lot of areas. I would go stop loss to break even on a lot of trades that would continue in profit. I would clip good trades like this one, maybe that didn't immediately work with a time stop in my head, and then it would immediately blast in profit. And what I've found so far, as of recent, is becoming more consistent, more mechanical, more systematic with my trade management, not so much my trading as a whole or my entries, is helpful to me, right? That means that I will have situations where we move into drawdown and I have maybe a chance to close the trade for $300. Let's say we start to head towards profit. I have a chance to close the trade for $300 loss instead of $500. And I have my discretion's telling me I might want to do that. But in lieu of, instead of acting on that, I act with consistency and I don't do that. And I will have trades that continue to stop out. In the pursuit of not clipping good trades and not applying too much back and forth discretion, that creates more inconsistent results. So, again, that's just opinion though. I think you'll find as you get more advanced, you'll get more discretionary, right? You'll apply more of your intuition, more of your experience. But I think there's good guardrails, right? And if you notice results shifting in a certain way, or, you go back through trades and you look at things and you say, what could I have done better? Getting more consistent in certain areas, I think can be helpful. So, but to answer that question, does Zach use the DOM? Here is my DOM, my brother. Hang tight. Hang tight, y'all. Bookmap. This is... Bookmap calls it a current order book up here on the right-hand side. Am I sharing it? Am I sharing my screen? Yeah. But what we're looking at here, and the link is in the chat if you want to check out the 4th of July deal on Bookmap, which is wild. This is a DOM, right? This is a depth of market. Again, they call it an order book, current order book. We have price levels, quantity of orders on the book above and below price, and we have level 2 data being fed into this to be able to see a whole bunch above and below. So yes, the way that I look at the DOM is what we're looking at right here. Where do we have big standout orders? Where do we have liquidity on the book that I might be looking for a reaction from? Maybe I use some volume tools, which I do, around order flow as well, like cumulative volume delta. But mainly, How's price reacting to these levels? What's happening as we come down into them? Where are they, as areas of interest on the chart that I might want to pay attention to? So like I said, right above price, right here, quite a bit of orders sitting sell side just above. Down to the 85s, I was mentioning, wouldn't be bad if we wicked down one more time lower, took some of this liquidity, and then started to really see buyers step into the upside. Got to lift this first now if we're gonna start to pop. And then reason for caution down to the 80s. Why? We got orders down here, right? Down below that, not too much until we really completely sell off. But do I think it's possible that we come down here, grab these before maybe rejecting? Sure. Areas of interest, right? Just like levels of structure, stuff that you would see on a candlestick chart. Bookmap, the depth of market provides you just more information. Whether or not that's useful or you find it that you can build confidence in it and use it in your trading, that's up to you. There's plenty of traders that don't use order flow, depth of market, they don't use level 2 data, and they do just fine. So I don't think it's one way or the other. The same way there's a million different ways to trade. And for that matter, I think Bookmap's great. I'm partnered, I'm affiliated with them. You can get a great deal on them, but you don't have to use Bookmap. You could use a number of other order flow tools. You could just use a traditional depth of market on whatever your trading platform is, and you can see this data, right? Like I'm sure if you're watching the DOM right now, you should be able to see 6290s with quite a bit of orders on the book. You don't need Bookmap to give you a heat map. You don't need it at all, but you don't need Bookmap to give you a heat map for that. You don't need any of it. I like Bookmap because it gives me nice historical information that I can look at and maybe take screenshots of and journal if I want to. I can watch something play out over and over and over again, like I've been watching the DOM for months and months and months since I've been trading with Bookmap, and start to build some pattern recognition on what that cumulative volume delta starts to look like based on what's going on the chart, right? Where price is moving. We continue to move to the upside. We have a growing CVD for the day. What happens? We are moving to the upside and we have a rapidly declining CVD. What happens? Is there a pattern to be observed and maybe utilized there as a way to help with entries or to create more of an edge or to structure risk or to manage trades or just build some confidence, right, in your entry? That's the way that I look at really all the tools that I use. Very simple pattern recognition. There's so much more detail with Bookmap. There's so much that goes into market mechanics and the narrative behind why everything's happening. I try to avoid going too deep down those holes, those rabbit holes. I think it can be helpful for some people. For me, I tend to build like too much false confidence. I tend to be angry when what I think is going to happen doesn't happen based on some market narrative that I created or that I understand accurately, and the market just completely disrespects it because, Trump and Elon argue or something, So I just prefer a more basic pattern recognition way. It makes it very simple for me. And what I tend to do best with, just personally. So there's my comments on Bookmap. There's no analysis, no tool, indicator in the world that beats countless hours you put in watching the charts and start recognizing patterns, period. I agree with that, Wolf. There's no substitute for experience, guys, unfortunately. I wish there was. I wish that, and if there is, you just let me know about it and I'll substitute it. But I don't think there's any substitute for experience at all. At all. Scalped 600 MNQ locked out for the day. Beautiful. Trying to get funded. Very nice. Very nice. What's up? What's going on? Automating what you do with positive win rate and risk to reward will beat your countless hours. I don't know. It depends on what you mean by automating. I don't know if I agree with that. If you mean just building a bot or an EA that trades for you, I don't see much success with that ever. Everything else is just a lens, a biased view of reading the markets, which is skewed. Yeah. Easy to get skewed as well. Market doesn't care. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Subjectivity and discretion, right? It's in the eye of the beholder. But for me personally, let me just speak for what works for me. Do you already have your risk settings to one contract stop loss 550 before executing? No. HPL. We can talk about discretion and intuition and kind of, how it's applied or not applied. I'll give you my 2 cents. Remove that for now while we're watching Bookmap. Right now, I think there's actually a take profit up here. Yeah, there's actually a take profit way. Oh, I'm not on the right screen, but I have a really wide take profit and stop loss that gets executed in the risk settings, and then I adjust that. If I'm going to run one contract, here on ES on these accounts. I'm typically going to run it right around that $500 mark. 2 contracts, it's going to be the $1,000 mark, 10-point stop. So I drug that one up. But I did have a stop loss that got executed, or that got entered with my market buy. But yeah, so here's my thoughts on discretion and intuition and, just my own personal experience, right? I spent countless hours, countless time and hours trying to create a 100% mechanical, objective, right? Not opinion-based at all. No intuition, no discretion, no interpretation, no experience strategy, right? When I first started trading, long period of time. And it never worked for me. Was never able to make that work with any consistency. Some stuff would go well for a little while. But I was never able to grab onto any consistency, right? Real good, consistent results. And that was really confirmed when I went to an in-person event for Forex.com, who was my live U.S. regulated Forex broker that I was trading with at the time, and spoke to veteran algorithmic traders, right? Really veteran. It was actually a team, brothers, whose sole job was to just back test, forward test, and then employ bots and EAs, right, in the Forex market for traders. And I straight up asked them, I'm like, hey, do you guys actually is this any, I was pretty harsh with them. I was like, does any of this actually really work, man? Because I never see this stuff work. I can't make it work. I can't see anybody else makes it work. People just sell these $100 bots and EAs, and, I don't see it happening. And their answer was insightful, right? And it kind of lined up with what I was coming to terms with myself. The vast majority, there's only a couple percent out of all of it. The vast majority of 100% mechanical objective systems do not work. The ones that do require a lot of maintenance, a lot of tinkering, a lot of special risk management parameters, and even those don't last for forever. Typically, they have to be, continually adjusted and changed around and moved around. Of the stuff that doesn't work in there's a lot of traders that think they are operating with a 100% objective or mechanical or systematic strategy that are, in fact, applying their discretion. They're applying their subjective interpretation. They might not realize it in how subtle of a way they do it, but they are doing it, and that positively affects their results. So for me, at that stage, I got very discretionary, very, very discretionary. And I gained a lot of consistency. I started to do much better in my trading. I started to not just blatantly lose nonstop, because that was, what was going on. And you have to fine tune it, I think, right? As you get more intuition and experience and discretion, I think you can utilize that. I think you watch almost every trader that you click on's page doing that. And it comes with, a balance, right? Where are you going to apply that discretion? Where are you going to be systematic? What rules are you going to have in place, right? If it's with entries, is it with trade management? If it's with trade management, is it with entries? Do you have qualifiers to have, some different things there, to hold you accountable, to hold you in place? But to me, personally, I was never able to make it work. And honestly, to this day, I have never seen a 100% objective, completely objective, meaning zero subjectivity at all, system work for an extended period of time with set risk parameters. I've yet to have it demonstrated to me. So that's the opinion that I hold, right? Whether or not it's correct, that's up to you guys. So I think discretion is useful. I think we watch every manual trader apply their discretion to some degree or another, some much more than others. And I think that can be beneficial. But I think it's a double-edged sword. And it comes with, within reason, right? The more discretionary you are, the more inconsistent, over the long period of time, your results are going to be, because you're putting more weight on yourself, on your execution, your performance, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on that. That's kind of my thoughts. But we missed some comments. Yeah. What's up? When will the giveaway start? Anyone in the stream active? Yeah. Hello, people. What's up, dude? Random days, random times. What's up, brother? Random days, random times form will drop in the chat. And you guys will have a chance to get it filled out. Are you right about that? Trading bot being more as active, passive, not passive. Otherwise, everyone would switch to it and earn money. Set risk, fixed RR. Oh, I think it went away. Trader might take a year to learn, but it takes a lifetime to master. Discretion is important. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. This stuff is built with time, in my humble opinion, right? You're only gonna get better with time. Def been a harder trading. I think trading itself takes a very short amount of time to like quote unquote learn. Harshit Modi. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I think that's how you pronounce it. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. We have a giveaway, random days, random times. I don't tell you when it's not going to happen. You will know when it happens because I will tell you, and it will be posted in the chat. We did not have one yet today. That's as much information as you get. There's multiple per week, 50K straight to funded accounts, but we didn't have one yet today. I'm not going to say whether or not we're going to have one because it's random days, random times. And you will know because I announce it on the screen, I announce it on the voice, and I throw it in chat. Does top one have a practice account? Yes. Yes, it does. Def been a harder trading this past month. Yeah, man, these markets have been wild. These markets have been wild, dude. Absolutely wild. But again, I think some people are doing really well. Some, are struggling, and everybody in between. So I think that's out for discretion as well, right? Like if I'm doing well, my system's working well, my entries are playing out really nicely. Somebody else's might not work well, right? It's a zero-sum game. So I try to avoid saying like markets are great, markets are bad, all that type of stuff. Chat, what's up? How many accounts can you copy trade? Top one. You could have up to 9 straight to funded Sim Pro accounts with Top One Futures. Let's show the banner. Ah, shoot. Oh, I still got Bookmap running. That makes sense. Yeah, still got Bookmap running. I'll leave it up. You know what? This is going to be interesting. I think this is a good example on Bookmap. I'll leave Bookmap up, guys, but I'm still long. I'm still long from 62.88, 75. This is showing me $87 of loss, $75 of loss right now as we pop back up. Stop loss is at 62.78 and 3/4. I'm interested to see what happens around these levels, right? Do we come right through the 80s? What happens when we come through this level? I don't love that my stop loss is right here at the 75s, but it is where it is, right, based on the entry. Interested to see, do we start to come back through this level, this really heavy level that came on the book? What happens when we do? Do we reject really harshly? So this will be fun to watch on Bookmap. If you guys want to see another chart, just let me know. How many accounts can you copy trade? So you can copy trade 9 with Top One Futures. You can copy trade up to 9 straight to funded account, straight to Sim Funded Pro accounts. Excuse me, straight to Sim Funded Pro accounts. You can copy trade 3 of the instant funded accounts, the standard instant funded accounts. You can't copy trade between those two account types. You can't copy trade them all together. But technically right now you could have a 9-pack of the ones that I'm trading here live with you guys, the straight to funded Sim Pro, and you could have a 3-pack of the instant funded, the standard stuff. This is a non-trading related question, which I usually ignore, Francis, but I'll answer this one since we're just hanging out watching this. How many years do you have long hair? What does it feel to cut them? So I had long hair for a while, and it probably took me a couple years to grow that. I'm gonna say like 2.5 years or so, and it felt nice to cut that. I donated it to Locks of Love. So Locks of Love is a company that makes wigs for little kids with cancer, I think, or just people with cancer. So I had really long hair and I cut it and I donated it there. It was actually my wife's idea. But yeah, it felt good, I guess. David, what's up? Got to get back to work. Just stopping to see how we're doing. Awesome. What's up, Mike Z? What's happening, brother? Long time no see. We got some OGs in the chat. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I am really interested to see what happens, and I'll leave this up unless you guys want to watch a candlestick chart. I get asked to put bookmap on all the time. I'm trying to remember to do it more. I'm interested to see these 6290s, right? Right along this level. You know, that's above my entry. We pop that and don't reject really harshly. I'm gonna like this. You know, I'm really not gonna be mad at having to sit through some drawdown. We came down through the 85s, right? This level that I was looking at, and we started to reject before these orders down here. But these are a problem. All right, these could potentially be a problem. If we're going to continue lower, I think we're going to trade through the 80s, right? Just the way that I read order flow. So let's see what happens as we come up to this. Could bounce here for a while. We could find resistance again and come back down through. If buyers lift this and we start to drive higher, I would like that back to the 6,300. I'd really like that. So again, guys, I'm still long one. Yeah, right back to entry on this one. I'm still long one ES 62.75. Really right where we're trading right. Excuse me, 62.88.75 and 3/4. Stop down below this level here, 62.78 and 3/4. Right here. So let's see what happens as we come up into this level. We'll watch bookmap together today. And again, guys, if you want to check out, oh, that's weird. It shows the mouse when I'm not over it. That's weird. I don't like that. Anyway, if you guys want to check out bookmap, link is in the chat. And they got some wild deals on bookmap. If you scroll up, you can get all of the codes, but right now it's like more than 50% off the Global Plus, which is what you're looking at right here, the the badass version, and 3 months of data for 3 months, and it's 40% off annual Global Plus. It's pretty sweet. Links in the chat. As we're hanging out, running a long stream here, man. Running a long stream. Just kind of hanging. Be right back, guys. As we're hanging out, watching this thing around entry, we're starting to drive through. No, I'm not going anywhere. We might get something here. We're not going anywhere. Let's see if we can drive through these 90s. See if we can lift this and start to push to the upside. I'll call out my trade management on this, or I'll show my chart as soon as we pop this. If we start to move to the upside, I'm gonna swap back to my candlestick chart. Yo, Zach, what's up, brother? Yo, Zach, would you say bookmap has really helped your trading for determining profit target stop loss areas? Specifically for take profit stop loss, maybe not as much. It can be helpful for trade management. Excuse me. But I think it's really helpful for me for areas of interest, right? For levels. I was watching specifically on this trade that I'm in right now. I was watching overnight low, right? At 62.90 and 3/4. And I wanted to see potentially a wick right down through the 62.88s, because right below that 62.90s where we had some liquidity, we had another like 100 on the book right there, right? And so I waited for that to happen, and that gave me a little bit more confidence to jump in at the right time. Maybe down below a level we have a whole bunch of orders at a specific lot, area, and I'm not, I wouldn't be paying attention to that if I was just reading the candlestick chart. So I think the way that I would describe it, more so probably for areas of interest, for levels and for entries, it's helped me personally. also just for reading volume, right? And the way that price moves. I think it can be interesting to watch. It's just prints differently than a candlestick chart. And for me, being able to read volume as we head to the upside, head to the downside, and now just cumulative volume delta, which again, you don't need Bookmap specifically for all of this stuff. I don't mind saying that, even being partnered and affiliated. You can use different tools. You can get CVD on different tools. You can get a depth of market, but Bookmap for me is nice. I like the way that it reads, and I think a lot of traders like it, which is why you see it used so commonly. It's just clean. But so some of those things can be helpful, in my humble opinion, and some of it, which is the level 2 data, the depth of market side, you don't get on a candlestick chart. Right, you don't know if there's 300 orders above price at 62.90 the way we're watching right now, and we found resistance at multiple times below overnight low, right? But it's just like anything else, it can work for you and against you, just like any other tool, right? You can read it not well. It can give you too much conflicting information. It can give you information and then it doesn't do what you think it's going to do, right? Patterns repeat themselves, but not with 100% accuracy or even close to it, right? So just like any other tool, I might be reading Bookmap, utilizing order flow, and the market doesn't give a shit about where these orders are, and it just does, there we go, coming through these right now, and it just does whatever it's going to do, right? For whatever reason. The market is somewhat irrational in a lot of ways, right? We have crazy underlying drivers right now with geopolitics and the U.S. administration. Anyone can say anything at one time, tweet something, a comment, and the market just rips right through everything on Bookmap. So, I don't like to try to oversell it. And again, I think it just comes down to what do you as a trader want to utilize, right? What do you seem to work well with? Your personality, the tool that you find confidence in, that you believe in for whatever reason, that you see patterns repeat themselves in an easy way. It aligns with your view of the market. And that's different for everybody. But when you identify what that is, lean into it, right? Lean into it. So you could probably go all the way back. Wow, man, more orders up here at the 90s. Right back on. Came through, filled, and then right back on. This is going to be interesting to see. Yeah, we're going to leave Bookmap up on this one. We're right around my entry here, guys. Sitting around break even. Tick below, 2 ticks below. But yeah, if you went back and watched my trading when I incorporated Bookmap, right, into my trading here in the futures market, I was like, listen, guys, I'm not even going to apply this to my trading decisions. I'm just going to watch it for a long time. First, to decide if I even want to try to use it, if I think it's going to be helpful for me, but also to build a lot of experience on, right? And I'll note that Bookmap, just like any other tool, and I'd argue even more so, it takes a while to really get a feel for it. It looks vastly different every day, month, different parts of the year, different news things going on. You notice a lot of different stuff on Bookmap. So in order to grasp onto some pattern recognition and to get a feel for it, I personally think it takes a while. I think it takes a long time. Months and months and months of staring at the same instrument for a long period of time, and you start to build some of that pattern recognition, some of that discretion, some confidence into utilizing it. But it takes a while. I think other stuff does also, but I don't know. For me and what I've heard other traders describe, I think Bookmap seems to take a while. So, I mention that anytime I try to mention that when I talk about it. If you're going to consider it, I don't think it's something you add to your chart and all of a sudden, first off, nothing does that. But all of a sudden, everything turns around and it's amazing. It's another tool. It's another tool. Just, decide on your weapons of choice. I think someone said something earlier about that. Appreciate the insights, brother. Yeah, for sure. I find Bookmap super helpful. Super, super helpful. If I'm away from my desk and I don't have it, I really feel like something's missing. And that's how I know that I'm utilizing it and I really want to utilize it in my trading decisions and my view of the market. I really do not like to trade without it at all anymore. The DOM does my head in sometimes. Visualizing a Bookmap is awesome. Yeah, exactly. Two most powerful warriors are patience and time. 100%. But yeah, the DOM, like a traditional depth of market, to me was super overwhelming. I'm like, how the hell do I read that? And plus, you're only getting it in real time, right? So as orders are filling and moving on the order book, a lot of that happens rapidly, right? And Bookmap gives you a historical display. As it prints, we have that, that line that's moving. To the right of that white line that we're looking at right now where price is, that's live market, right? And that can continue to change. Orders come on and off the book at all times. To the left of that is your historical, right? And you can go back and look at that. You can look at what happened on your trade, what happened during it, afterwards. It can be helpful for, back testing and reviewing as well. One last note on bookmap and order flow. It's worth noting because everybody always likes to yell this, which is accurate. There's spoofing, there's manipulation, right? Anybody can do anything at any time. There's legal rules about what you're supposed to do and not do, but it still happens. So orders get spoofed. They get put on the book and then pulled as price comes around it. They get moved around, right? Big lots come on, sell side, buy side, that aren't ever really intended to be filled. Algorithmic liquidity bands come on and off. Sometimes they kind of overlay price that make it difficult to overlay different price levels that make it difficult to work with. So all of that stuff is a downside, right? All of that stuff is real and can be a downside to trying to utilize order flow in a meaningful way. And it's worth noting that, right? Spoofing's real, manipulation is real. That stuff comes on and off the book. You start to see it happen and read what's real and not real, but not always. And it can make order flow difficult to work with sometimes when that happens. So it's worth noting that. All right, now that we're coming, I'm hanging out with you guys. I'm still in a trade, still long, 62.88 3/4. Now that we're coming back down past my entry for a minute, it's going to give me a chance to take a quick break. I'll be right back. I'm going to try to make this one quick. Back in action, guys. Whole lot of nothing, huh? Whole lot of nothing. Let's see. Let's see what ES has got for me. I got a little while longer. This is definitely running a little long. We're over 2 hours already. Wanted to hop into a trade. I did. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. What do we got, ES, man? What are we doing down here? Let's see what the market's got for me, boys and girls. Scott, what's up? What did I miss? I'm long from 62.88 and 3/4. This is showing me about $50, 62, 62.50, 75. Just a couple of points below my entry right now. Stop at 62.78 and 3/4. Looking for a reversion back towards that VWAP level, back towards that 6,300 off of overnight low. We didn't really get it. We just tried. We came right back up through those 90s. Orders have been coming on and off the book up there. So this is interesting. Looks like we might want to dive lower again. CBD starting to grow. Wasn't looking too bad as we came back up on this. Just the way that I'm starting to read CBD, right? Because I employ these things that I watch for a long period of time really slowly into my trading decisions. But not a whole lot of anything, man. Just a slow, painful kind of hanging out in the trade type of trade. That's the deal. Wolf, don't lie. You missed 2 giveaways. No giveaways today yet, guys. There was no giveaways. Wolf's a liar. A troll. Let me not call him a liar. Let's see. Oh, my bad. I got a ad playing. That's not good. Back to the 85s. Do we just dump here? I mean, give me the stop if I'm going to get the stop, but... long trade, just how today is. Yeah, again, I'm long. Sitting long in this. We'll see. See if we got to sell off. Spoofers are professionals at holding the gun, knowing they're never going to pull the trigger. Scare tactic and manipulation. Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially what spoofing is, right? It's manipulation. Right? They know that other people are utilizing order flow. They know everybody is looking at, something. So kind of pulling the fake out move, right? They're doing something maybe that they don't intend to actually execute on for, some reason other than just getting filled, right? Drifting lower. Don't know if this thing's going to turn. Again, I'm leaving Bookmap up. If you guys want to watch the candlestick chart, we can. It was interesting to see where these orders are, right? We're going to come to the downside, grab these. Do we come all the way through the 80s? Dicey. I'd survive a wick right down to the 80s, but if we trade through something like that, prior day low, I have that at 62.76.5. I think that would be a stop for me. But again, the way that I manage my trades, pretty dang systematic, pretty dang mechanical. Not much at all for me to do until we start moving into profit. Moved a little bit into profit right after entry, but just didn't get the drive and the reaction that I was looking for. Continuing to drift lower so far. That's what we got today. What do we got on NQ and YM? Just out of curiosity, let's take a look. Second screen. Yeah, similar move. NQ down below VWAP. That one reacted much more harshly to the upside. Got much closer to VWAP. It's like 20 some odd points off. Pretty dang choppy. And I think someone said YM was selling off. Oh yeah, YM sell. I mean, slowly, but super slow. Just grind to the downside, straight down from YM. Looks like, yeah, from the open, yeah, 270. YM just dragging this bad boy lower. Yeah, so we Yeah, we got some, and NQ moving higher, at least for the moment, from around that 11 o'clock time frame, last 45 minutes. We got some we got some conflicting information on these. Ooh, yeah, there's volume and volatility coming in, guys. This is looking like the stop. Let's see. Do we hit the 80s? Maybe. Do we front run these orders and we don't trade all the way through? Just looking like sellers want to drive this bad boy lower. But this is going to be interesting to watch. We'll leave bookmap up again through the 78s. I'm stopped out. Let's see. Let's see what we get today. Yeah, and this is probably going to be my only one on the live. If I take this one, be chilling out, watch to see, do we drive lower like really aggressively, or do we actually start to find some buyers here? I'm not convinced that we just sell off completely, but we did not get the rejection that I wanted after overnight low off those 88s. We chopped around, returned to that level multiple times, but we are having to come all the way down through the 80s here. So looking like an L for me. Not yet, but I'm not too confident that we, if we come through these 80s here, that we stay a point or two above, right? And we don't come and tag me out right here into the 78s. But we're going to watch it play out live. I'm almost at my time limit, but not just yet. Running a longer one. How long have I been on here? Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes, man. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Waited patiently for the setup to come. Executed. Taking a long time to play out, but nothing just yet. Nothing just yet. Yeah, this could be could be the sweep of prior day low before rejection, but this is looking pretty weak now. Just a drift lower all dang day. Buyers tried it in multiple areas, but couldn't hold it up. So far, it's not the drive higher for all-time highs. Coming into this 12 p.m. time frame, I think it's unlikely. Honestly, again, like here comes the discretion, right? I think it's likely I take a stop here. I do. I don't think it's likely that we leave these 80s completely on the book and then turn higher and run for the day, or we go back to VWAP without grabbing this. And if we do, my stop's right there. So it looks like a stop out, unfortunately, right? That said, I don't apply discretion on these trades in drawdown, right? That's my spot where I say I'm going to be more systematic, right? I'm going to be more mechanical, because I find that when I do, I hurt myself more than I help myself, right? I clip good trades before they move back into profit. You're tempted maybe to move stop loss farther away, which is like almost always a death sentence. Do anything else crazy. So, Zach, why don't you cut it? That's exactly why. Why don't you just cut it and then look to go back in when it's looking better? Yeah, that's exactly why. What I just described. For me right now, very mechanical, very systematic when it comes to trade management. You could do whatever you want, but the idea that you're always going to be able to get a better entry price, enter, exit, realize loss, come back in. Not as green on that grass side as it sounds. But that's up to everybody, right? If your trading plan, the way that you manage trades says, if I think it's not working good, or it takes too long, or one of 100 other things happen, I clip my trades, before a stop, or I add, or I move stop loss. That's totally up to you. For me, what I've found, going stop loss to break even very quickly, clipping trades for a smaller loss rather than just trusting the stop and allowing the full stop to be hit or to continue my profit, in profit, doesn't help me. Hurts me more than it helps me. I will have situations like this where today I could close it right now for $337 instead of the full $500, where I feel like my intuition, my discretion, my experience is telling me I'm probably going to take a stop based on the tools that I use. And today that might help me, right? It might save me 100 and something, $200 across these accounts. But in the long run, out of the next 100 trades, what I find is doing that, I will have more that come back into profit because my stop loss is in a good spot based on my entry where it needs to be. And I end up worse off on the total P&L. And I think that's what most of trade management is, right? Looking at a large sample size over the next, again, large sample size of trades. What did you do? And if you did something differently, would that have helped you or hurt you, right? And very slowly continuing to adjust and adapt to increase that P&L, right? You're not always going to be perfect, and your goal isn't to get it right every single day, but based on your approach, your style, the way that you trade, the tools that you use, all that fun stuff, what's the best thing that you could do over a large sample size of trades, trade management wise? Attempt to do that. A good example is, for me, I was a big go to break even trader, right? Move stop loss to break even. Don't let a winning trade come back on you. I found myself doing that. And you can watch it in my live trading if you just go back through YouTube. I found a lot of trades would come back to break even, stop me, and then move all the way past my take profit. There were some trades that would come all the way back to stop loss, and I saved myself a full stop loss. But the number of trades that moved back to break even and then back to take profit vastly outweighed the trades that moved all the way to a full stop out that I was saving. So I had to resign myself with the fact that if I don't go stop loss to break even, I will have some trades that come all the way back to break even and then go and stop me out. But if I don't go stop loss to break even, I will also have trades that come back to break even and then move all the way into profit. And based on my personal results, right? Not for everybody, not because break even is bad for everybody. For me personally, those are outweighing vastly the ones that go all the way to stop loss, and the R multiple is helpful, in that. But again, that's just review. That's just reviewing, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So as we're talking about it, here we go, right? That's why I sit here and watch it happen. Here we go for the 80s. Do we bounce here? Last ditch. I'm still in by the skin of my teeth, guys. Doesn't look good. But do we bounce here? We grab the 80s and we don't have to go trade through the 78s. Let's see. Right at the 80s, right at the 81s. I don't think so. I think we come through prior day low and then maybe we bounce. But yeah, it's great conversation, right? It's good conversation. I think that's all we can do as traders is review and improve. And that's different for everybody. It is really different for everybody. But your data won't lie. Your results won't lie. Your feelings will lie to you. What your mind is telling you will lie to you. All that stuff will skew your opinion and what you could and should have done. Look at your results over the last couple months if you've been trading that long. If you're not tracking your results, you should probably start tracking them in some way or another, very simply. But look at your results, go back through, and look at what you did, right? Where did you enter? Where did you exit? What did you do when the trade was on? If you did something different, if you held the trade for longer, if you had a wider stop loss, if you went stop loss to break even on all of those trades, would that help you or hurt you? Hurts you? Don't do it. Helps you? Maybe look at how factoring that in might help, right? There's a practicality point also, right? Like you might find that, well, if I hold all of my trades for 8 hours and I drag my stop loss up on a 2-minute bar chart behind every bar, that would be the best. But you might be like, that's completely unreasonable. I'm never going to be able to do that. I know logically I can't hold my trades that long personally. So there's a practicality piece to this also, because you might find what works isn't really practical. But yeah, I recently found out moving break even hurts my trades more than it improves. I'm trying to eliminate that. Yeah. Again, just your data is going to show. Your results are going to show you. Your data is not going to lie to you. It's just not. It's objective. It doesn't have an opinion. It's just, here's what the market did. Here's what you did. Here's the results. Numbers. So, lean into that. So I'm still in, guys. I'm still in by the skin of my teeth. Stop 78 3/4. We're back up to 84 3/4. We got a lot of orders that you could see sell side on Bookmap, which we're watching together here today, being ran right above price. Buyers trying to bring this thing higher again. Are we just going to continue to come back up, fill sell orders, and drive lower? Kind of what we've been doing all day. So we'll see. But yeah, again, it comes into the discretion piece, right? And I'm not this don't have any plan, don't apply any consistency, just do whatever you feel is the best thing kind of trader, I would say I'm very discretionary, but I have areas in my trading where I find that maybe I'm not that good at, or I don't have the discretion or the intuition to execute so well, or that it just is just too inconsistent. And that for me is trade management. But on entries, I'm pretty damn discretionary. I have what I'm looking for. I frame my trades, but exactly when I'm hitting the buy and sell button, how I'm structuring that, what trade I'm looking for is based on a lot of different tools. And I apply a lot of discretion to that. I really do. And I counteract that a little bit, or I have been as of recent, because I've been more discretionary in the past, with being more systematic, more objective, right? More rules-based when it comes to what the hell I do after I hit the buy or sell button. So, but that's different for everybody. Couldn't agree more with that. Yeah. Let's see what we got, chat. We're bouncing back. I'm gonna hang with you guys. I gotta manage this. Here's one thing that I don't love about Project X. There's a very simple trade management tool, talking about automating and bots and EAs, and this is really not that. But there's a very simple trade management tool that's an automation that I want to use that I can't use on Project X. So that would really allow me to walk away from this trade. And it's called auto break even with an offset. So auto break even is typically used to move stop loss to break even as your trade moves into profit. But you can use auto break even with an offset to say that if the trade moves X points, 5, 8, 10, 12 points in profit, I can move my stop loss to break even plus an offset, 4 points, 5 points, 6 points, whatever it is. That auto break even is how I manage my trade. And I would love to automate that. This way, when I go to grab a drink or the bathroom or something, price rockets in my direction. If I was watching it or paying attention or whatever it is, my trade would be managed automatically. Unfortunately, Project X doesn't have that yet, which is a little frustrating. So hopefully soon enough they have that. API is open. It'd be great if somebody coded that. Talked to a couple different people on that type of stuff, so we'll see. But if you're interested in platforms that do have it, Tradeovate has it, MotiveWave has it. MotiveWave is what I'm testing with. It's one of the reasons I'm working with them. So ES forming a 3-bar reversal on the 5-minute, looking good for long. Looking for longs if it holds above the 9 EMA. All right, Kingpin, you're back in Longville. We'll see. This is right back near break even. I'm around. It was around a point off break even. Let's see. Let's see if we can drive this thing higher. My stop is just below the low, which I really don't like, right? A sweep of lows is, before I move up one more time is always in store. I'm right there, but I don't move my stop loss farther away. Obviously, like I talked about. Let's see. We'd have to come back through the 90s and then all the way up towards the 90s. I got VWAP at 97, 62.97, 41. Let's see what this market's got for us. Let's see. We're going to try it. We're going to try it. Damn, I got people still in. Hey, guys, here's a good one. While I'm on here. I will never DM you or friend request you in Discord. No DM or friend request in Discord from me. If you initiate a DM or something, I'll talk to you. But I will not friend request or DM you in Discord. Those are impersonators impersonating me. And unfortunately, I got people telling me now from the top 1 Discord that I got continual people doing that. So, damn. Let me message this again. That's annoying. Here we go. Back through entry. Back through entry. Mad annoying. Mad annoying. Scammers got nothing better to do. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, no friend requests, no DMs from Discord, guys. If you get one of those and it looks like me in my face, that's a scammer. That's an impersonator. I don't do anything with crypto. I do everything free, so anything that they're asking you for money is just 100% BS. All right, let's see. All the way back through my entry, grab the orders up at the 90s. Do we go through the 95s up to the 300s and make this a W? Back into profit here. Let's see. I'm going to leave bookmap up. Again, same trade. I'm only in one ES mini. 62.88 and 3/4 is my entry. Stop is at the same spot that it was before. 62.78 and 3/4. Whoa. Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Fair play. Got a little 20 points done for the day. Yeah, I want to see this bad boy drive back up. No continuation from sellers and some buyers stepping in. Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. I would like to see even more volume on this move to the upside. Even a bigger change in CVD, right? Really running through. We continue to have sell orders stack above price, right? They came right back on here. We came and grabbed them again. This level, man. Sellers really liking these 90s. So this could be a problem. This could definitely be a problem. We could just be continuing to pull back up to this level, right? Find sellers and reject, and we return and just continue to drive down lower. And maybe we are going to sell off, but so far this ain't bad. That got close, real close, but this is why you trust to stop, right? You know, so here's the answer to that question, right? You know, Zach, why don't you cut it if it's not looking good and then go back in when it's looking better? You know, would this be looking better now? I don't, you know, now, probably now that it's all the way back to my entry, but where would I have cut this, right? I would cut it here maybe and realize $300 worth of loss, and now I'm jumping back in down 300 or 400 on the day, you know, so that's kind of the thought process with being cautious about trying to jump back in and out of trades. You can always get back in, you can always clip trades that aren't working, but it's not always as sweet as it seems or as easy to do, you know? When is the trade going to look better? Well, by the time it looks better, it already moved, you know, another 10 points back away from your stop and your original entry. So, you know, that's kind of the thought process. That's kind of the thought process. Ooh, hang on one second. My continuity camera's dying. Oh, man. All right, hang on, guys. Be right back. All right, we're back. Plugging stuff in. All right, let me see what we got going on here. Hang on one second. I'm going to swap back over to the main screen so you guys can see what this trade is looking like for those of you guys that hopped on late. Let me get rid of that banner. Let's see what we got. There it is. There it is, boys and girls. Still in it. Still in it. Hanging out. Hanging out. See what we can do. Let's see if we can start to drive higher. Again, this is a decision-making point, right? You know, we're either going to wake up here near VWAP or we're going to reject and, you know, come right back down. Week overall, I'm looking for this to be a choppy market, obviously, right? Did not get the reversion off of this level. Didn't get it off the 85s that I was looking at, although we did come all the way back up here. All the way down through the 80s, survived by the skin of my teeth with my original stop, right? Nothing done yet. And here we are coming back through entry. So can we get a drive higher? I'd like to see it back towards VWAP. I think the 95s could be a problem, right? We looked at we looked at, we've been watching Bookmap together, but I'm going to hang on to this one, right? All the way back down to stop loss or up into profit. That's it. That's the play, kids. That's what I got going. That's what I got going. So, as you can see, the banner that I threw up, man, since I'm hanging out, I'm going to repeat myself. Code RDF. Let's check it out real quick. This is one of the best discounts. I won't say the best discount because we've had different stuff. This is one of the coolest promotions I've seen, specifically because they're allowing you to copy trade the most amount of accounts. So, I'm going to share this one real quick. 4th of July sale from Top 1 Futures. 55% off Elite Challenges and Sim Pro accounts. Those are the harder intraday trailing drawdown ESS score accounts. 55% off, and you can copy trade up to 9 of these bad boys. Wild. Instant funded stuff. If you say, hey, Zach, I want the OG accounts. I want the ones with end of day. I want the arguably easier to trade. Consistently, only 20% consistency rule. They got them here for 35% off, code RDF. Again, RDF is better than what's in the website, in the emails, in the Discord. That deal is going to be better. I'm grateful to be able to offer that to you guys. Along with that, we're not running it right now, but giveaways every week on the live stream. Straight to funded account giveaways. Straight to funded pro account giveaways. 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 100% free here on YouTube. And now Kick. If you guys are tuning in from Kick, what's up? I'm also streaming on X today, but I don't do too much on X these days. It's just very negative on there. It's mostly just like a weird like drama app or something. I don't know. But yeah, more than happy to have you guys on here. Hit like, hit subscribe, hop in the free Discord so you get alerts when I'm going live, all that fun stuff. Link is down below. Link's in the chat if you want to check that out. Again, 100% free trading Discord. I don't have a course. I don't have a VIP. I don't have any of that stuff. I'm just here trading live with you guys, giving you all the sauce that I possibly can, all the juice, yapping about companies that I'm partnered and affiliated with, right? Support yourself. Support me. Don't do anything. Do whatever you want. Along with that, guys, like I've been talking about, Bookmap also has a badass deal. Bookmap deals do not come around from what I've seen very often, especially like in this magnitude. So the codes are in the chat if you want to check that out. There's 2 of them. It's 50% plus 10%. I don't know exactly how that's calculated, but it's 50% plus 10% off 3 months of Global Plus and 3 months of Bookmap data or a single stock data through DX feed, or 40% off Global Plus for the year, which is pretty heavy. So if you guys want to check that out, links down below, links in the chat. Hit me up anywhere. If you guys have questions on any of this stuff, I'm more than happy to try to help you out. Hit me up in Discord. Let me know what's going on. I'll give you the best info that I possibly can. Check me out on YouTube. We got a whole bunch of long-form videos. I'm dropping another Bookmap video as soon as I get off the stream today. Yeah, Project X tutorials, top 1 information, a whole bunch of different stuff. Let's see, what are we going to do here? Yeah, I don't mind this. I don't mind this long. Running it back up. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. You thinking long? You thinking short? You thinking no idea? Where's your head at? How are you guys viewing this? I'm curious. What do you think? You think we reject off of these 90s again and we just head lower? We come down through this low, break prior day low, and extend to the downside? You think we drift higher on this bad boy? Scott says, Oh, what's up, Scott? Long biased. Hey, Zach. Nice to see you're still on. A good link stream today. Should try going longer. Yeah, man. Mystic Rick. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Did a nice long one for uh overnight. And I'll tell you about that. Like if I see a trade that if I get into a trade and it ends up just taking a long time, like it did today, I try to hang on if I don't have obligations, right? I do have quite a bit of other things that I do besides just sit here and stream with you guys. Most of it trading related, but meetings, whatever it is, normal life stuff. So I can't always be on all day. But if I'm sitting in a trade with you guys, I want to let it play out so I can manage it for a win or a loss. But also if I just sit for a long period of time and I know I don't have anything coming up, like I don't see any trade setting up and I'm like nowhere close, oftentimes I'll just call it, rather than just kind of hanging out and just BSing. So that will happen sometimes. So I won't always say that I'll be on here every day for a super long period of time. But we got time today. Like I said earlier, I got a whole bunch of capital I'm looking to leverage. Let's see. So yeah, what's up, Mr. Ray? Appreciate chopping on, man. Was thinking short until we saw the new orders. Yep, on Bookmap. Yep. Will there be a giveaway at the end of the stream? I don't know, Connor. I don't know. Listen, if you got something to do, don't waste time hanging out with me. We got plenty more giveaways. You can, if you're just here hanging out for the giveaway, you got to hang out to have a chance to get it. But I'm not going to entice you to stay on and say yeah or maybe. Do whatever you're going to do. It's random days, random times. Sometimes I give you guys the heads up when I'm super jacked up or I got something going on. I say we're definitely going to do one. Get ready. We're hopping on. I try to do that for the guys in Discord, the guys and girls in Discord, since you are part of the community also, which is free. If you guys want the early heads up, sometimes I do that, but can't give you that answer. Maybe we wait for a bit more structure. Higher, lower, something for the longs, maybe shorts if it breaks down. Okay, either way. Kingpin's looking either way. Yeah, let's see, guys. It's either going to be one way or the other here, obviously, right? We filled the gap, rejected. Do we come back down through prior day low and then reject? We could do that. This wouldn't be terrible. Like, I could see that potentially happening. That would suck, right? Because it would take me out. I like this for the move back up, though. I like this to just drift higher and kind of have this annoying, like, we chop around, we start to pick a direction, we come all the way down, it looks really good, we're starting to sell off, everybody's getting short, and then we just kind of drift back up, back to the 300s where we hung out for forever. We kind of want to just hang back out at that level, right? Just chop back around there, back into, some of these opening ranges. So that's what I'm looking at. 12:15, this may start to drift. I'm going to hang out for a while longer with you guys. But you know what my trade management's going to look like, right? We turn from right here and come to my stop, I'm stopped out. We start to drift higher, give me a way to drag stop loss into profit. That's my play. And it's either going to be a larger win or a smaller win. That's the option. Scott's still looking short. I feel that, man. I feel that. Nice. Randy got long. Near me on MNQ, held on to the play for 2 hours, and he ended up $841 across 5. It looks like Top Step XFAs, 50K XFAs. Nice, dude. Beautiful. Nice day. Yeah, I'm still holding this one, man. Still hanging out. I'm hanging with you guys. Oh, chopping here, chopping. Yeah, man, this is just a slow one. This is a slow one. Clips. What's up, bro? How do you manage your positions? If you take an SL, would you enter more trade if you see opportunity? What's the average R? I'm new here, so don't mind me asking. No. There's plenty of stupid questions. That's not a stupid one. So how I manage my positions is different than what you asked, right? You're asking, what does my trading look like throughout the day? Maybe on this specific account, right? So for me, my risk management. So for me personally, in these accounts, the max loss that I want on a day, what my personal daily loss limit would be right around that $1,000 loss, right? So if I take one trade with $1,000 of risk and I take a stop out, I'm done, right? That's important in these accounts because there's an equity stability score and it takes into account your largest losing day. So it's important to have a marker of what your largest winning day is going to be potentially and your largest losing day potentially. So for me, it's 1,000. If I take this stop out, I have another trade to take, right? I have another risk unit to utilize. And if there's another trade that presents itself, I might jump into that. Right? My average RR is going to vary. For the most part, it's not a massively high RR. I'm dragging stop loss into profit, and I'm typically getting ticked out by trade pulling back a little bit, maybe before continuing. So not a massively high RR. Some of the larger wins, if price starts to rocket, we've got some volatility coming into the market. This looks like some news. Yep, here comes the stop. Not yet, but that looks like some headlines coming in. Yep. Immediate stop out on a knife candle to the downside. As it was really coming back into profit, man. Swipe below prior day low. Who wants to guess? I'm going to guess that is, again, trying to pay attention to news on like financial juice and really catch something like that as it's happening. To me, I can't seem to leverage. I'm going to guess that one is Trump making a comment on one of the deals with like one of the tariffs, right? Or the tariff deadline, right? Like he might consider moving it back or something like that, moving it up, something like that, right? That would be negative. So we'll find out in a minute. Maybe one of you guys already know what it is. But that's unfortunate. Part of it, just an immediate stop. We came back up to that level. I'm going to assume that that's what that is. All the liquidity pulled off the book really quickly as that happened. We came through liquidity to the downside, and here we are knifing lower, absolutely knifing lower. All we can do is structure our risk in these headline markets, allow our trades to play out. Unfortunately, that's a stop. Unfortunately, that is a stop. And an immediate run to the downside. Congratulations if you happen to be short on that. Wow. Let's see what it is. Trump news. Yep, there we go. What did he say? 25% tariff on Japan. There we go. I was close, right? I was close. Trump, I will impose a 20% tariff on Japan. Yep, so we talked about trading headline markets. Like I said, bookmap, tools, all of that stuff working really well. And at any point, Trump can comment, I will impose a 25% tariff on Japan. And we knife lower immediately on that news. We drop 0.5% in here in ES. We immediately knife 100 ticks lower. I don't know what you could do to anticipate that. Maybe you listen to Squawk. You catch that really, really quickly. For me, trying to do that, just never played nicely, but insane volume to the downside. Market is selling off really rapidly. No play for me on this. Anything that I would have taken long now would have failed, even on a trade below prior day low. That would have been stopped. So unfortunate. You're on the right side of those sometimes. It plays pretty nicely. I was on the right side of one of them earlier last week, to be honest. But not much you could do to anticipate that, in my humble opinion. Today it did line up with market structure to the downside, which is pretty sweet. But again, Trump tweets, I'm not going to impose a tariff on Japan. We pump. Here we go. If it's continuing, be cautious, guys. If you're still trading this, I would be really cautious. If Japan raises tariffs, they will be added. They will be added to 25% levy. Yeah, I'd be cautious if you're continuing to trade. Nice. Somebody took a W. If only I pulled the trigger. Scott. Yeah, there you go. Leaning short. Yeah, so guys, that's going to be it for me. Unfortunately, one stop, long trade. Hung out with you guys for 3 hours on this one. Unfortunately, taking the L. Part of it, right? Part of it. I think the only thing that I try to demonstrate is after something like this happens, maybe in the same accounts or whatever it is, continue to trade if you want to trade, if you have a setup. If there's nothing for you, if there's just nothing for you setting up, be cautious of just being angry that you took an L, trying to FOMO back in, do anything crazy, right? You know, that's where a lot of just bad trading comes into play. So I'll give you guys that. But I'm going to wrap it up right here. Remember, guys, looks like it's going to bounce right back up. Top One Futures, 55% off. Code RDF if you want to check that one out. Link is in the chat. If you want the OG accounts, they are 35% off. Remember, we got multiple account giveaways the rest of the week, 50K account giveaways. More than happy to have you on this live stream with me. Took the L, but unfortunately, it's on a Trump comment, so not much to do about that. Looks like we're going to bounce really right back up on this so far. Interested to see where we go from here, but I'll probably be chilling out for a little bit, watch to see what happens, and then maybe look to get back involved in another set of accounts or in the live personal brokerage. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a recommendation or suggestion to do anything at all. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop from accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top One Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Talk to you guys soon. Trade well.